which makes us blessed and makes for stormy weather. Japanese is better, and when she's pressed she will undress, and then she's boxing clever. A friend in need's a friend indeed, a friend who bleeds is better. My friend confessed she passed the test, and we will never sever. Days dawning, skins crawling, days dawning, crawling, days dawning, skins crawling, days dawning, skins crawling, pure morning, pure morning, pure morning, pure morning. A friend in need's a friend indeed, a friend who'll tease is better. Our thoughts compressed, which makes us blessed and makes for stormy weather. A friend in need's a friend indeed, a friend who bleeds is better. My friend confessed she passed the test, and we will never sever. Days dawning, skins crawling, days dawning, skins crawling, days dawning, skins crawling, days dawning, skins crawling, pure morning, 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 pure morning. A friend in need's a friend indeed. My Japanese is better, and when she's pressed she will undress, and then she's boxing clever. A friend in need's a friend indeed. A friend with weed is better. A friend with breasts and who's dressed in leather.
I'm not quite sure why I'm here or what I'm doing, but there's a reason. I don't like Facebook, and I don't like the internet. The library blocked my password. Now tell me, does that make any sense to you?
This is absolutely lit. This is lit.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dark Times with Dark Match Steve. You may have guessed it, but I am Dark Match Steve. I am your host for the evening. Welcome. Get on in here, lovers. About to love on you. Get up in here. Don't be shy. Don't be coy with me. Don't play with my fucking emotions. You get in this chat. I don't want any of you creepers, okay? I know you type of viewers, you like to click on the video and then not say nothing in the chat and just sit and watch and judge me. We won't have that. I will find you and block you. Get in this chat. Tonight, we are live on YouTube, Rumble, and Twitter, also known as X if you're autistic and do ketamine. Wherever you're at, get in the chat. Welcome, lovers. Get in here. We got a fun show for the evening. We got Tim Pool versus Liquid Lying Ass Death. That's right. I'm here. This is like a PSA. I'm here to warn you people, and I've discussed this before because this has come up with other things. Look, if someone is trying to sell you canned water, okay, and they're telling you that there's no plastic on the inside, and they even tell you, you know, the water tastes so much better from an aluminum can. You don't taste all that plastic. You know, when people they say that they're trying to sell cans of water to you, they're lying to your face, though. Look, don't be mad at me for pointing out that other people are lying. How fucked up would it be if someone was mad at me because I pointed out that other people are lying to your face? You're a fan of some show, and they're lying to your face, knowingly lying, telling you that you're not drinking plastic particles when you drink from an aluminum can. No, you're drinking aluminum and plastic particles when you drink from an aluminum can. That's right. The aluminum cans are lined with plastic on the inside. So that's what at least a portion of this debate is going to be about. I think it's going to be about recycling plastics and the use of plastics for beverages and that kind of thing. And also, there's some interesting information where Tim Pool sort of fact checks these the CEO, the owners of this company that are making certain claims. And from what I am seeing from clips that are going around viral, looks like the CEO of this company owes Tim Pool $1 million for a bet that they made during this debate. So there's a lot to get to here. But yeah, it's funny. I like that this is going a little bit maybe not viral, but it's making its rounds. This is good. It's informative, guys. There are still people walking around to this day thinking that they're avoiding plastic particles and phthalates in their ball sack because they're drinking from aluminum. And that's partly due to people lying to you. So there's that. So just keep that in mind. Literally, any show that is telling you, it's not just people. Liquid Death has promotional deals with probably all kinds of shows. But even if it's a different kind of canned water and they're telling you you're not drinking plastic, you just gotta keep in mind that you're being lied to. Unfortunately, guys. Unfortunately. So anyway, wherever you're at, get in the chat. I'm about to be in the chat. Say hello to everybody, then we'll get started here. I think this debate is like an hour long or so. So yeah, we need to get to it. All right, lovers. Chat, I'm inside you. Tell me you feel me. Tell me I'm girthy and long. Funny Face, welcome. White Ice Tea's up in here. What's up, White? What's up, bro? I don't think I've seen you in the chat in a minute. Do you hate me? Am I not as cute as I used to be? Dutch Duke, welcome. No, good to see you, White IC. I appreciate you hanging with us. Daniel Graham's up in here. What's up, Daniel Graham? Well, looks like I won't be getting a free prostate milking today. No, we're not doing that anymore. Look, you guys, let's be real. My talents stand alone. My talents as a host are good enough on their own. I should not have to offer free, free gay services to people in the chat just to get you to click on the video. Okay. Please tell me I'm not getting a big head and you guys agree. Do I need to bring back the free prostate milkings? I'll do it. You know what? If it helps me get a few clicks a night, I'll do it. Let's, oh wait, Adam Wiley, I skipped you, lover. What's up? Adam Wiley's up in the chat. Michael Earl, Adam Wiley. What is he talking about in here? This country's on its way down a hellish gap. Only you have the power to pull the reins. Here and now, tonight, sub to DMS, like, comment, and interact, or you are toast. Thanks, thanks to the juice. Oh, we all love juice. At Dark Times with Dark Match Steve, we love all juices, all kinds of juices. Welcome. If you're a juice, please hit the like and subscribe. Johnny Z's up in here. Sniz is in the chiz. I thought it was a friend with weed is a friend indeed. That's what he says. That's the lyrics. The first lyrics of the song is a friend with weed's a friend indeed. Oh no, he says a friend in need is a friend indeed. A friend with weed is better. A friend with breasts and all the rest. A friend who's dressed in leather. It's a good one, guys. You all don't listen to Placebo. I can tell no one in the chat knows what the fuck I was playing. That's why you guys need me. That's why you guys should watch this stream, because I can actually show you cool stuff that you don't know about because certain people run the entertainment industry. I'm just kidding. It's probably not their fault that Placebo's not that big. I don't know whose fault that is, but that's a really good band. Placebo is, I see why some people might not like it, but Placebo is basically like the band REM with like extra estrogen. That's pretty much what it is. If you had like a trans woman covering REM songs or songs by the Police or something, that's pretty much the sound of Placebo. But they got some really good jams. Bob Cook. Thank you guys for coming to hang. Bart Hutchinson's up in here. No creepers. Kenny Powers, welcome. Yes, no creepers. Y'all stop creeping. That's so creepy. Who the fuck taught you internet etiquette? You just gonna sit here and fucking watch me in the corner or something? That is so weird. Halloween party this year? Yeah, come join me. It's at the 5th floor of the St. Joe's Hospital where my mom is. That's where the Halloween party is going to be. Unfortunately, they only allow 2 guests in the room at a time, so we're going to have to rotate. So everybody that comes to the hospital to see my mom, we're going to have to rotate. We can kind of hang out by the elevator, and then 2 by 2 we can go in to say hi to my mom and happy Halloween. Yeah, that's what the plan is. Scott Starbird's up in here. What's up? Witchcraft water, yes. Plastic witchcraft water. Also other brands that sell water in a can. I won't name any other brands. I'll at least be that polite. You guys, I'll read between the lines here. I will be at least that nice and not mention the other brands that sell canned water. I'm trying to be so nice here. I should just lay this fucking dick out, but I'm trying to be very nice. Stop telling us the truth. Hey, you know what? Some people do not like, I know there are some people that are not going to like what my little monologue there about canned water. Trust me, there are some people that are not going to like that. But hey, look, if the truth, look guys, if I get in trouble for telling the truth, it's worth it. It's worth it. How much trouble can I get in anymore? Anyway, the parody guys are out. The parody guys quit. Did you guys hear? Richie April says, do you think you could physically overpower Tim Pool? I don't have a beanie on. I think that gives him special powers. So if he and I both went beanieless and we just had both of our bald heads banging against each other like a couple rams or something, or like those fucking dome-headed dinosaurs, I think I could win. What do you think? Oh, god damn! Hold up, that one right there. Oh, that actually looks big. Guys, I'm going to be Hogan for Halloween. Check it out. I should take this fucking shirt off. I should rip right through it, actually. I'm going to be zombie Hulk Hogan for Halloween and walk around all night asking if I can fuck people's wives. That's going to be pretty funny, isn't it, guys? The lady on the third. Guys, are we going to do a hospital trick or treat? Probably not that depressing. I think you're underestimating how depressing things can be. Guys, let's not talk about my mom or a Halloween party, because that was my way of telling you guys it's not happening this year. I hope everybody can figure that out. Richie April, thank you. Look at that bicep definition. Fuck, I am a freak of nature. Guys, I'm small as hell. Don't let me fool you. I'm 5'7". I probably weigh less than 140 pounds right now. Kenny Powers said, I was trying to be positive. I won't let you. I'm not letting anyone be positive in my chat. I'm just kidding. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to this debate, guys. This should be really interesting. I'm intrigued to see exactly, number one, I don't even know how this really started. I read a little bit and I forget what the fuck I saw, but it was, I guess these guys have been talking shit to each other a little bit on Twitter. I think Tim Pool initially called them out because there was some stuff about them donating money per can that they used, or per can that they sold. They were supposed to donate a certain amount of money to help with like environmental causes. And I think the canned water people are really trying to like fool everyone. Oh, let me get the chat up. All right, chat's up on the screen. The canned water companies are really trying to sort of like just like let people assume that they're helping to stop plastic waste because they're drinking from aluminum. That just by not telling people that the can is lined with plastic. These fucking canned water companies, they're just trying to let people go walk around ignorant of what they're actually what product that they're using, and let people assume that they're not drinking plastic. Hey, this tastes so much better. It's not plastic. Fuck, man. Sometimes I think my standards for like just the way I am as a host and a streamer, and just like, you know, if there was are my standards too high? Should I be lying to you guys? Should I be trying to sell you guys like some kind of canned water and tell you that it'll cure cancer and that there's definitely no plastic in it? Should I be doing that? Because it seems like once you get big enough, you just do that and you rely on sort of like lying to people. And I think that actually helps significantly to make money, but at what cost? That's what I'm saying. Do I want to keep some of my dignity and not lie to my fans and listeners? Do I want to keep dignity and make money, or keep dignity or make money? Those are the two options. I don't know. I've been poor so long. I think I'm used to it. These days, I'm actually enjoying having the little bit of dignity that I have. I think it's actually worth it. Adam Wiley, I will not highlight the comment that you put. I'm not naming any other canned water companies. I'm just feeling nice tonight. So I'm just not going to name any. But we all know, look, a lot of people in my chat know of some other canned water companies. We're just not going to mention the names. Okay, let's bring this up. Tim Pool. Let's see how he did in this. Because I saw the one clip. This guy gets fucking cooked. This fucking idiot gets cooked. Oh, what's Tim Pool's got a water coming out. What is this? Pool water. That's right. Pool water. Sounds fucking disgusting, but it's a play on words. Because it's Tim Pool. That sounds fucking disgusting. Sounds like it would have worse stuff in it than liquid death. Pool water. It's got chlorine and, sanitized poop particles from other people's assholes that didn't wash properly before getting in the pool. That's what it sounds like you're going to get with Tim Pool's water. Actually, I might drink some Liquid Death instead. Here we go.
My computer.
Wait, really?
At this
Oh, guys, I should have worn my beanie. Do I have a black beanie? Hold on, guys. Do we want to... Damn it. I meant to have a beanie on. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I'm just a couple feet away. I'm right here. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. I'm looking for a beanie. I promise this is my studio and not my bedroom. I just happen to have some beanies close by in my studio. I'm totally not broadcasting from my fucking pathetic bedroom. Fuck yeah. I actually found one really quick. Check it out, guys. We're all Tim Pooled out. Let's do it.
Hello there, friends. If you're watching on Rumble, you saw me do a quick frame check already because, you know, we're chilling. I'm going to be having a discussion with the CEO of Liquid Death, a canned water and beverage company, over issues I take with their company. And I will start.
It's not a canned, it's a plastic company. They sell you plastic to drink.
By saying I respect that he's willing to have this conversation because I think it's a bad company. I certainly think that there's worse companies for sure, but I take issue with the misleading claim death to plastic while all of their products, or I shouldn't say all because I don't know everything.
Oh my God, death to plastic. The canned water people. Oh my God. Man, guys, I'm telling you, it is a shame. It is absolutely bonkers the way these fucking companies, whether it's food or pharmaceuticals or whatever, the way that these companies play the game of just relying on your ignorance and omitting facts is just, it's insane, guys. Death to plastics, Liquid Death. But we're going to line all the cans with the plastic. Holy shit, guys. Yeah, I'm telling you, it doesn't hurt, guys, to just be curious and look stuff up, because there are countless companies like this, like I said, from pharmaceuticals to everything else, food, everything, that are just relying on the fact that you won't take 5 seconds to Google something. 5 seconds to Google something. And they rake in the money because you have a job and other stuff to do and don't feel like Googling stuff.
They sell, but their cans are all lined with plastic. Not only that, they sell packets of drink mixes, which are also lined with plastic. There are alternatives to plastic that are readily available and low cost, such as glass and stainless steel. And so for that reason, we will have this discussion. And let me start by pulling in the CEO himself of Liquid Death. And again, I am honored that he is willing to have this conversation. Let's make sure we have the audio is working, checking, see.
Now, Liquid Death, I almost wonder if this is one of those things, you know how they say with the karma. So these powerful elites that are supposedly a part of this fucking weird Canaanite occult fucking satanic shit. They say that according to their rules of karma, this is why they put like symbolism in all kinds of stuff, is because they are actually telling you what they're doing. And because you don't pay attention and revolt, it is considered consensual. So that's why a lot of people that do terrible, terrible, nasty things, you wonder, how do they sleep at night? Well, this is what they say their rules of karma are. As long as they kind of tell you, even if it's through symbology and, subliminal messaging and stuff, as long as they actually tell you to some extent, you are technically consenting to being, abused and taken advantage of and lied to and everything else. And I wonder if this is what the plan was by naming your company Liquid Death. It's like, technically you're being very honest with people. It's in the name. You will die from drinking as much plastic particles as is present in a 1 can of Liquid Death. That will kill you eventually. It'll catch up to you. And they warned you. It's in the name.
Seems to be good. Let's kick it up. Make sure everything's here. Mike, can you hear me?
Gotcha.
Thanks for joining me. I do appreciate that you're willing to have this conversation.
Of course, no. I'm glad that you're willing to have it.
Absolutely. Let me put my head. Make sure the audio is good. But
Man, Daniel Graham. So, I get what you're saying with this, but man, we can look up. I can pull up some of the clips and stuff if I can find them. But like one of the first people that really sounded the alarm on a lot of this plastic stuff. This is one of the doctors that was on Joe Rogan's podcast. And when she went in there, it's like, this is one of those things where it's kind of like how everything else is. There's pros and cons, there's gives and takes, and it's sort of you have to weigh the risk versus benefit. And like I understand plastics helping with medical devices and stuff. However, I have my issues with the medical industry, but this is one of those things this lady talked about. I mean, even when a child is born, they've done the testing on phthalates and plastic particles in the blood and all that kind of shit. And when a newborn comes out, you can test the baby's blood for these plastic particles. I forget if it's blood or urine, but they test these infants for plastic particles right when they are born. And then they test them again like 24 hours later or something. And just from the fluids running through the IVs and all the machines and the bullshit, they already get like a palpable, significant buildup of these plastic particles in them just from using the medical devices and stuff, And it's like, it's the same with, people buying certain jar can food and different things where they'll actually they'll test the plastic particles and it's there's a significant amount, and it's because just from the processing, just from the tubes of everything is like in these factories, if it's liquidy bullshit, it's like running through plastic tubes and it picks up some of these chemicals. So I mean, it's just like, man, the plastic stuff, I get where it's like it's probably a useful stepping stone in human history for people to learn how to utilize plastics, but at what cost? I don't think we're quite aware of what the cost is actually going to be. I mean, is it just like we'll have shrunken testicles for a couple generations and then we'll bounce back as soon as we quit with the plastic stuff? I don't know, man.
My headphones on. So let's just start from the beginning of how this kicked off, and I'll start with my tweet, and I'll be as crass as I need to be, and then you can address it. I said that I'll refrain from swearing, but I said your company was ish, S word, and that you mislead the public into thinking you have plastic-free products when you actually sell plastic-lined products and other plastic products. And
guys, I've been waiting. I'm too excited for this. I'm too excited. I've been waiting for one of these canned drink companies to get their shit pushed in.
I'm not okay with that. I'm not a fan of that. So I'll make the claim. I believe the intention of your company with this Death to Plastic slogan is to trick people into thinking that they're buying something that's more environmentally friendly, when in fact they're buying plastic, fully aware that plastic bottles are worse. And the reason I say this is because a few years ago, as we've entertained the Maha argument, and we've seen it rise up and the conversation become more notable, I meant to say, Gene Lasker, sir, thanks for joining us. Don Ferguson, bro, I skipped you. I went right past you. Sorry, sir. Don, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Johnny Z. What's up, lovers? Thank you guys for coming to hang. This should be interesting. seeking out plastic alternatives for my studio. We have about 40 employees. We have a dozen or so contractors. Plus, we have 3 or 4 guests coming in every single day. So we like to stock up on various beverages and snacks. Now, we would order pallets of plastic water bottles because some people just don't care. We would also order glass bottles, and it was usually Saratoga Springs glass water bottles. I'm fully aware that the plastic caps have, the caps, they're metal, but they have plastic sealers. And
dude, man, I'm telling you guys, this plastic stuff is so fucked. I was reading the other day, somewhere I saw that often, I think is the right term to use. I don't remember exactly what thing said, but I think it's often, if not usually, glass containers, like beverages and stuff that are in glass, actually have more plastic particles in the beverage because of the lids. The lids that they use for all of these glass jars and glass bottles, it's like it'll be a tin lid, but then it has a layer of this plastic on the inside. Like if you ever, I'm sure most of you guys have drank Snapple, especially the old Snapple in the glass jars. I used to buy those because it was in glass way back in the day. Way back in the day. They don't even do them in glass anymore. I was on to the anti-plastic shit like 10 years ago, guys. I was worried about the plastic stuff. Back then, Snapple used to come in glass jars, but the glass jars had the pop lid that was metal, and you could feel the texture of the plastic on the inside. It almost felt like wax or something. That shit, it almost, looking back, it seems obvious that stuff would leach into your beverage worse because it felt like it was waxy, like it could come off of there.
A friend of ours, Richie Jackson, told us how he rode for liquid death and that we should consider aluminum as an alternative to the plastic. The purpose being because we wanted non-plastic contaminated goods.
They want non-plastic. Yeah, Kenny, that's why everyone, there we go. I completely forgot. That's why everyone knows what a Snapple lid. Everybody should know what I'm talking about because everybody lifted up the lid and read the fact on the Snapple fact. Yeah, that's right, Kenny. I forgot about that. Oh, y'all were talking about bong water, selling a bong shaped container. That's actually not a bad idea. But it could be a container that you could, like a kid could turn into a bong like we used to do with like smoking out of a, oh God, I smoked out of a Pepsi can before. That means I smoked plastic, guys. I'm just figuring this out. Oh, guys, we smoked plastic back in the day. We thought it was just an aluminum can. Holy fuck. There's so much plastic in my lungs and balls.
So we didn't want our food products, for those that are serious about it. So I ordered thousands of dollars of liquid death over the next couple of months for our staff. And then my brother informed me, in fact, all of these cans are lined with plastic and we're not actually...
Tim didn't know.
Getting away from it. We're still using it. I was incredulous. I said, what do you mean? It says death to plastic. They're aluminum cans. And silly me, I guess. I just didn't realize that aluminum can meant aluminum and plastic can. So my brother using...
Guys, who the fuck... This is so funny. Guys, you need to look up more conspiracy stuff. There have been people doing the videos showing how you can melt the fucking metal off the can and just leave the plastic sack on the inside. Those videos have been going around for like over 10 years. Y'all should have been new.
Caustic soda dissolved the can and then showed us the plastic bag which we were drinking out of, and I was a bit perturbed by this.
Those videos are like 15 years old, guys. Y'all should have been new.
Not because I don't recognize that plastic lines everything. We buy bacon, it's in plastic, but that the can says death to plastic, and I'd bought plastic assuming I was buying something that wasn't. So in fact, what ended up happening was, instead of me purchasing a glass bottle product, which would be substantially less plastic, I ended up buying more plastic and increasing my plastic consumption and the direct contact we make with our food goods. So I'll just throw it to you to respond and then give us like an intro or how you see it and what you want to say about all that.
I'm Naya Young. It's time for a fresh...
Oh man, am I going to have to go to fucking... What, guys, are we going to sit through... We're going to do ads tonight? Is this full thing on Twitter? Let me look, guys. I'm not going to do this to you.
Voice with a trusted vision.
Mini collab underway. Look at this retarded anime shit. The fuck am I, a furry?
Sure, yeah, and and you bring up a good point, and I think to kind of walk back like how Liquid Death started and what the idea was from the inception was, so Liquid Death, we started the company basically in 2018, and at that time, plastic pollution was a big thing. You were seeing that like Marriott and all these huge hotel chains were getting rid of plastic straws. At that time, there was news that was out there around the whole China plastic bottle recycling thing. So this idea that people were discovering plastic bottles are not actually recyclable. Yes, technically they are recyclable, but they're not actually getting recycled. What's happening is you're sending your plastic bottles in your blue container to a recycling facility. That facility in the past for decades.
No, this guy's right. This is what this guy's getting onto here. I'll give him credit here. This is a fair point. With the plastic bottles, I remember, guys, damn, I've been in the recycling loop a while. I remember back before COVID happened, or this was like right as COVID was happening. I saw something about that, about how the recycling shit is just not what it's hyped up to be, and that there's countries that would normally buy our stuff are just like rejecting it now. This guy's acting like he invented water. He invented deadly plastic water.
Was then putting it on a ship to China and marking it as recycled. What happened once it got to China? No one knows, no one cared. They could have just dumped it in the ocean. They could downcycle it into carpets or whatever. Then I think it was, right around 2018.
Hold on, let me get the full, what he just said.
As recycled. What happened once it got to China? No one knows, no one cared. They could have just dumped it in the ocean. They could downcycle it into carpets or whatever. Then I think it was, right around 2018, China said, we're not accepting any more plastic trash from the US. We don't want your plastic trash anymore. It's useless. Then that was a problem for all these recycling.
Guys, I may as well pre-watch everything because I'm sure it looks like I'm saying stuff right before it comes up because I know when it's coming up. I have not watched this debate. I'm just like, I'm in the loop with some of this plastic shit. I done been in it. I was born from it. I was born from plastic.
Plants. Now they have nowhere to mark it as recycled. They just have to send it to the landfill because the cost to try to process plastic bottles, grind them up, then resell that at a profit to the facility so that they can actually be a business that generates income. They would lose money. They would go out of business if they actually processed all the plastic bottles. So what we did learn was aluminum is the only thing that actually gets recycled. And aluminum is subsidizing any of the small amount of recycle that's happening for plastic and also glass, because metal is a valuable material. You melt it down, they can put it in bricks. You can sell those bricks for, I forget what the price of aluminum is now. It's like $1,500 a ton or something like that. So cans, from a recycling standpoint, if you're talking about environmentally friendly, that's a big word. What does that mean? It can mean a lot of things. If you're talking about sustainability, meaning, hey, I can drink a can, it's going to get melted down and made into a new can over and over and over again. There is no material, including glass, that comes close to aluminum when it comes to sustainability, and especially plastic bottles. So in the original days of Liquid Death, with Death to Plastic, everywhere it said Death to Plastic on our bottle or on our pack, it said, we donate a portion of proceeds to help kill plastic pollution. And we work with companies that we put on our site, like Five Gyres that fight plastic pollution, and a couple others. So for us, plastic was just shorthand as a beverage company for plastic bottles. And a lot of people understood that. Even now, I think we surveyed some Liquid Death drinkers, and it was like 80% assume that the reason they're buying the can is for recycling reasons, not because, oh, I believe that it's so much healthier to drink out of an aluminum can. Because pollution is a big thing to people, and plastic bottles being in the ocean, all of that. That was how we built it. Now, over the last couple years, this idea of microplastics is a very new thing that people are discovering and that people are getting more aware of. Like, liquid that touches plastic can potentially leak particles, and you're actually drinking plastic particles. And there's not been a ton of research on exactly what it is. Some of it is so nano small, like at like an atom like level, that you need special stuff to even detect it and figure it out. So if you're looking at, okay, well, people are concerned about liquid touching plastic, and to your point, hey, doesn't a plastic bottle mean that there's less plastic? Well, it's not true, because in that plastic cap, there was a French study that was done. They found more microplastics in glass water.
Dude, I'm so ahead of the goddamn. You guys don't deserve me. You guys just watch me for free? And I know all this stuff. Unreal. Somebody better hit up my PayPal or Venmo. Dark Match on PayPal, DARKMATCH. Dark Match Steve on the Venmo, DARKMATCHSTEVE. I'm just playing, guys. Don't throw me any money. You deserve this for free. Dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. I just heard about that like a couple weeks ago. This is like new. This is new. This study that he's talking about, guys. This is actually. You know what? Honestly, all I've seen of this debate is the part where Tim Pool wins $1 million bet. Spoiler alert. That clip's been going around, though. It's not too much of a. You've probably already seen it. But anyway, I was not aware. I thought this was going to be a lot more whatever. I thought this guy was just going to be a complete fucking idiot, because that's what it seemed like in the clip going around, because he totally fucks up during this bet that they take later. But, dude, this guy's fucking cooking. I mean, the stuff he's saying is real. What we got to get into here is what they kind of put as marketing. Again, I'm still stand behind what I said. I do think these fucking can companies, they've known all this time there's plastic lining their cans, and they are 100% letting people walk around drinking and using their products under the assumption that they're consuming less plastic because it's aluminum.
Than even plastic. Because with that cap, it's put on with so much pressure, and there's paint on the cap, there's plastic seals on it, that just that act of turning it off is releasing so many particles into the water itself that it could even be more than a plastic bottle. And then if you're talking about, well, and then last thing, if you're even just talking about the amount of plastic used in a plastic cap, the amount of plastic, and then a lot of plastic bottles are actually using plastic labels that they use to put like the branding and whatnot on there. That amount of plastic used in a plastic bottle versus this basically microscopic coating that they put on a can. Even a glass bottle is using 10x the amount of plastic that a can is using. So again, it's a gray area, which is why I wanted to talk about it. There is no kind of perfect material or perfect solution. Everything kind of has, pros and cons to it.
Dude, that's fair. You know what? That's fair.
Glass and cans are far better than plastic on most levels, but that's kind of a quick overview of it.
There's a lot to break down. You mentioned donating proceeds. You mentioned recyclability. You mentioned the study about plastics, microplastics, all those things. So we'll try and go through these. The first thing's the obvious one. Why don't you disclose on the packaging, the cans, the boxes, or otherwise, this product does contain plastic inside?
And it's a good point.
Yep, that's what I'm saying, guys. These companies, they take advantage of just omitting facts. Omitting facts is just such a good technique to sell a shitty product. And I'm not saying Liquid Death is shitty. I don't drink it, but I'm just saying it's a good technique. Think pharmaceuticals, think whatever. Omitting facts is just like that is the number one play in the playbook for selling a shitty product, because people are just too busy to go look something up, especially if it takes more than one Google search. You can find that there's plastic in cans with one Google search. It's a little bit harder to find that there's fetal DNA and protein in the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. That's a little bit trickier to find, but you can find it.
And we are actually, as of,
If anybody needs that link, I'll send it to you. Just let me know.
because I think, to your point, the need to talk about plastic being in there, even though if the plastic has absolutely no effect on the recyclability, which is really what our message was.
That's
Our
also not
message was-
correct, but we'll stick to the first point.
No, it
Wait,
is.
hold on. I was reading the chat. What do you say here? I'm sorry if I'm jumping around too much, guys.
Why don't you disclose on
Okay, yeah, here we go.
the packaging, the cans, the boxes, or otherwise, this product does contain plastic inside?
And it's a good point. And we are actually, because I think, to your point, the need to talk about plastic being in there, even though if the plastic has absolutely no effect on the recyclability, which is really what our message was.
That's
Our
also not
message was-
correct, but we'll stick to the first point.
No, it is correct. It
So
is
the
absolutely
plastic in the
correct.
cans, where do they go?
That layer inside the can is microns thick. When those cans are smelted down in the process, that is completely burned off.
Where do the
And it
particulates
has no
go?
impact. What's that?
Where do the particulates go?
In whatever facility that they're burning that in. Now,
So
do
there's pollution
facilities
made
have
from it,
certain-
correct?
What's that?
Plastic burned creates pollution. Where does that pollution go?
Does the facility have certain filtration that they're capturing? Are they?
So where do the
facilities that
filters
just
go?
say- What's that?
The argument that there's no pollution made from the plastic you're using is a stupid argument.
It's so funny. This guy, he's just like keeps like moving the goalpost or something, you know? Tim is like, you're burning that plastic off. So there is some waste. And he goes, oh, well, it goes up into the air. And Tim's like, okay, but it's plastic waste that's in the air. And he goes, well, then they capture it maybe with filters. I don't know. You have to check on each facility. They probably capture it with filters. Okay, so then it's waste that's captured in the filters. It's like, you can't run away from it. It doesn't matter whether it's going, well, it does, where it's going into the air or into a filter, you still have a waste product.
Okay. When you burn off aluminum cans, the plastic is fried and it breaks down into plastic particulates, carbon dioxide, and water vapor, which is captured by filters in these facilities. And those filters create massive landfill waste. So this idea that this is another issue I take with what you're saying. You've done numerous interviews where you say infinitely recyclable, which is not correct. Okay. About 2% of your cans are still plastic. I fully accept and recognize it's still better than a plastic PET water bottle, substantially cheaper. You can get it for a fraction of a cent per ounce in a plastic water bottle. But again, my point is you are using this is called assumptive reasoning in marketing and manipulation to convince people that you are doing something that you are not doing.
Is that what it's called? Assumptive reasoning? Is that what I've been describing this whole time? Not knowing the term for it?
Doing something you're in fact actually doing. You burn the cans down to melt. I think it's 700 Celsius or higher. And the plastic fries off into pollutants, which are captured by filters. And those filters are waste product. And the filters have to exist because you're burning plastic.
Build a website you love.
Ooh, another ad. Okay, guys, I'm gonna look on Rumble to see if they got this on Rumble. We might have to sit through like 2 ivermectin ads, and then we'll be good for the rest of the night. So let me go look for this.
With Wix. For your words,
But Tim, you are absolutely wrong. They are infinitely recyclable. There is
The plastic's not
billion-dollar-
recyclable. They're not burning down the filters to make more epoxy resin lining.
Infinitely recyclable means these cans can be used, melted down. That metal material can be used to make new cans without having to go mine more additional metal to make new cans. Plastic cannot be. You cannot. It is not happening where plastic bottles are being melted down.
Let me ask you.
New bottles. So it is infinitely recyclable. That's
So okay,
wrong
so
to
let's
say.
adjust. What
Tim, it's
percent
wrong
of your
to say
cans is
it's not
plastic?
infinitely recyclable.
What percent of your cans are made of plastic?
Less than 1%.
So the industry estimate is that it's about 0.5 grams to a gram of plastic in all aluminum cans. You guys, I don't know if you're still doing tall boys or the 12 ounces.
It's 0.3 to 0.6, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the standard estimate is around 1 to 2% of a can. I do the low end because I want to steal man as much as possible. So when you say the can is infinitely recyclable, are you saying that minus the plastic, which is a percentage of the can?
Infinitely recyclable. Are you saying there's a difference between saying infinite and 100% of this can is being reused? There's a difference.
Marketing.
Marketing. Okay, I found it on the Rumble. Let's switch over here. Let me get us over here so we don't have to sit through any more ads. Okay.
On with so much pressure.
Which is a percentage of the can?
Infinitely recyclable. Are you saying there's a difference between saying infinite and 100% of this can is being reused? There's a difference.
Marketing.
It's not marketing. It's the English language, Tim. Infinitely recyclable.
Aluminum
means
cans.
The can can be recycled over that metal material.
No, that's still not correct. The aluminum can be,
correct.
but the can itself can't because it contains chemicals you have to burn off.
Yeah, so this guy is really, this, this is just willful ignorance if it's not, if this isn't creative marketing techniques or something. I mean, no, the can is not infinitely recyclable because part of the can is wasted when you go to recycle it. So he's saying, oh, well, parts of the can are infinitely recyclable. It's just that little bit of plastic that gets wasted every time. Well, but you're still wasting.
Can be infinitely turned from a used can into a new can.
No, the
over
aluminum
and over
can.
and over and over.
You cannot take a liquid death can, burn off the plastic and melt it down, and convert that into another liquid death can because you will need new plastic to line the inside.
Oh my God, it just fried this guy's brain.
Absolutely. You are right.
So the can itself is not infinitely recyclable. The aluminum of the can is. Not to mention, my understanding is that...
So 99% of the can is infinitely recyclable. You are correct. 99% of the can is infinitely recyclable. 0% of a plastic bottle is infinitely recyclable. 0% of a glass bottle is basically infinitely recyclable.
I also did.
Why not put that on your can? Am I fucking stupid or what? Like, just the transparency alone, and then I feel like the number on the can would even what am I crazy, guys? Would that not be placating or pandering, maybe in an honest way even, but more? That would be pandering and probably make even more sales to people who are environmentally conscious. If you put on the can 99.9% of the can is infinitely recyclable, that's a good number to have on the can. Why not just be completely transparent?
Disagree with that because I have glass bottles that we reuse all the time and have arguably recycled. I understand the point you're making about sending a glass bottle to a facility to melt it down, but I look at let's address the comparison that you've brought up over and over again, because once again we're pitting this as if it's cans versus bottles. But as far as I can tell, there is no metric showing that canned water has displaced plastic PET water bottles in any significant way. In fact, plastic water bottle consumption is higher than it's ever been and growing exponentially, especially in the third world. So when the argument is made that we are better than plastic, but when you look at the net product of Liquid Death still produces more plastic on top of existing plastic, I don't see how this actually is an argument.
So if you look at the top 10 plastic bottled water brands right now, since Liquid Death has been around over the last 6 years, and look, Liquid Death is still a small brand. Like, we're not Coke, we're not Pepsi, but we're on the start to at least have people think about alternatives to plastic bottles. Like, yes, we're, if you look at the publicly available scan sales data of all our categories, in which, by the way, still water is less than 15% of our revenue now. Mostly what we have are healthy soda, healthy low-calorie iced tea, and then we're launching sort of healthy, better-for-you energy drinks.
Healthy soda and energy drinks. Holy fuck, man. Guys, let me just tell, I don't know what people think. This is I feel like this is the same philosophy as, you know, the Jewish the Jewish traditions. I don't know what the holidays are and stuff, but there's like, there's a couple like days of the year or something Jewish people are not supposed to use technology. And so they come up with all these cheat codes. Like you're not supposed to turn off a light. So they have these lights that they sell for whatever the fucking Jewish holiday is, that all it is the light stays on the whole time, but you just like turn the cover on it so that the cover covers over the light and makes it look like it's turned off. Therefore, you're tricking God. See, God's not as smart as a Jewish man. So when a Jewish person tricks God, it's like, you know, it works. I feel like this is the same thing people are like trying to do by saying, I'm coming up with a healthy soda. Bitch, eat a piece of fruit. You're a human being. You don't need to have something from a goddamn factory. Eat a fucking piece of fruit. Holy shit. People think they're going to trick their body. I'm going to drink this soda, but it's healthy soda. That's what people thought about diet drinks. I hope everyone realizes that was a mistake.
Going into next year. So if you just look at still water, it's becoming a smaller part of our revenue. But if you look at the top 10 plastic bottled water companies over the last 6 years, all of them are declining in sales except for Smartwater. Smartwater is the one brand that is up in sales. However, Smartwater has moved a lot of their bottles to aluminum. If you go in an airport right now, almost all the Smartwater that they're doing, they're putting in aluminum cans.
Let's clarify that real quick. You're saying specific companies' sales of plastic.
I wonder if that has something to do with TSA. Is that what that is? You're not supposed to have like a sealed bottle that contains more than a certain amount. So they, am I crazy? Right. That would, isn't that because of TSA?
Plastic water bottles are going down. Right. That's fantastic for those 10 specific companies. But in general, PET water.
Yeah, there you go. White iced tea. Nature is my factory. Hell yeah. Same. No, guys, I haven't. But look, it is expensive to try to eat healthier, but I don't think if you're buying fast food a few times a week, I think you have the funds to eat healthy. Fast food is not that cheap anymore. You're not getting a 5-layer burrito for 75 cents anymore. It's over. Stop making excuses that it's too expensive to buy decent food. Fast food is not cheap. Stop lying to yourself.
Bottles and the sale of water in plastic bottles has increased exponentially year over year.
So are you saying just don't do anything?
Are you going to answer my argument, or are you going to shift and divert?
No, but I just told you of the top 10 brands that are doing all the volume.
Yeah, but I don't care about top 10 brands. I care about total plastic consumption, of which Liquid Death says death to plastic, but contributes significantly. To be fair, small company, I understand you're a big company, but relative to the big players, you're not the biggest. I want to say something real quick too. I love your drinks, and I think this is great. Liquid Death, I've always been a fan. I just don't like how you market this as though you're not plastic when you're contributing to plastic. And there's a lot more to add to this. I mean, you have single-use plastic-lined packets.
As I drink out of an Aquafina bottle, give me those particles.
You don't need to do that. You could do stainless steel. You could also do glass. My argument is you are using this marketing scheme to try and sell a product.
Yeah. Well, one, we did get out of the packets, and there's another
no more
company
death dust.
No more death dust.
All right.
There's another company that wants to license our name so that they can create death dust. And now what we're trying to look at is what packages are available that are a better option than what's currently there. With that stuff, there's not a lot of great options right now. So the original thing for death dust, the thinking, just so you see how we're thinking, was that what we did find was, because most of those packets are used by people who are like pouring them into reusable water bottles and going to the gym and using these things. So you could make the argument that By using a packet, it's like 98% less plastic material than a plastic bottle if you're buying a Gatorade. That people kind of making their own sort of sports drinks, you're kind of eliminating the need for someone to buy a plastic bottle, so that if someone's not buying a Gatorade and they're making their own Gatorade, you can argue that it's less plastic consumption that's
Well, they no, sir. The problem, they have to buy a plastic bottle of water and then buy your little plastic baggie of dust. I don't think this guy does like Terrence Howard math with understanding plastic particles in his drinks and the use of plastic.
it's happening. And then hopefully, as technology moves along and packaging moves along, that there are better formats that can be used for these things, given that there's such a new category that out of the gate, it's not the most ideal solution, but the minute there was something better, that you could migrate over to it. And that was kind of the thinking that we had going into it.
So why not glass?
Glass bottles for liquid death.
Yeah.
Couple reasons. One, the recyclability factor. They're not actually being recycled. So the idea that you have a plastic bottle, you put it in your blue bin, it goes to a recycling facility, they don't wash it out. Like, let's think about it. You have a Coke bottle. They own that exact shape and modeling of the bottle. You're not going to wash that out in a facility and then it goes and then all of a sudden your Sprite is in somebody's old used Coke bottle. That's not what's happening. Europe actually has a better recycling system for glass. And the reason that is because they don't have a mixed recycling plant. They have very specific glass containers, metal containers, plastic containers, all of that.
But why does recycling of glass matter?
Because if you're talking about sustainability of something that a material that doesn't have to be created from new always, that you can have material that's created new, gets reused over and over and over again, you're not constantly having to create new. And that's part of what sustainability can do.
But I look at it like, calories per bottle, right? So if the argument is that recycling is good because it requires less energy to recycle a glass bottle versus produce a new one, I suppose there's an argument there. But the reason why they don't recycle glass is because it's actually not correct. It costs more to recycle the bottle than to produce a new one from scratch. Considering that glass bottles are rocks, and when they sit in landfills, it's a landfill full of rocks, I don't really have a great concern about that. Plastic bottles, you and I agree on, but I would actually make the argument that for my personal experience, we stopped buying the Saratoga Springs glass water bottles. I'm familiar with the study that perhaps, according to this one study, there may be a couple, there's more microplastics in the bottle because of the cap. There are alternatives. There's cork, there's silicone, things like that. But in my experience and what I've encountered, the argument that people are going to not buy a plastic water bottle because liquid death is an alternative, I think also presupposes that people will choose not to buy a glass product with less plastic because they see liquid death as a cheaper alternative, which in fact just increases total plastic consumption worldwide.
Yeah, but you're really going out on a limb to assume that millions and millions of people are making the same exact assumption that you are.
No, I'm making a balanced assumption that there's no data to suggest a person has foregone buying a plastic bottle in favor of liquid death when the inverse could equally be true, that they chose not to buy a glass bottle in favor of liquid death, which has more plastic. I would actually argue this.
Liquid death doesn't have more plastic. There's more
glass?
plastic. There's more plastic in a glass bottle than in a liquid death can.
In every single glass bottle, even with a cork cap and with a paper sticker?
Show me one bottle that exists in a retailer anywhere in this country that is not alcohol that you're charging $15 a bottle for that has a cork in it.
The cork. So it is funny because you sent me this big long post on X about, our pool water gag product. And we're talking to a variety of distributors that have offered cork sealers as well as silicone, which is a bit more expensive. So it certainly exists. Like my point ultimately is,
no, it exists, but it's expensive. That's why alcohol brands use it because.
And so is liquid death is what?
I got a Mazzaro knife, and what followed was an absolute fiasco. Here's what really pisses me.
8 times the cost of a plastic water.
What happened? What the fuck happened? Is Rumble doing constant ads through the videos now too? God damn it. Steve Jackson, what's up, lover? What happened? Oh, yeah, they used to wash them out and reuse them. They did not make new ones. What? Yeah, right. For like the back when they have the milkman actually come to your house and deliver fresh milk, didn't they just actually reuse, not recycle, but reuse those bottles? Or am I nuts? Donald Ferguson says we can save the planet by just drinking wine instead of all these other drinks that need plastic seals. That's a fair point.
Water bottle per ounce?
No, false.
So I can go to Walmart right now, and for 0.8 of a cent, just like not even a single cent per ounce, I can get water from a plastic bottle. Liquid Death, I found at the lowest 8 cents per ounce, and the highest 17 cents per ounce.
So let's talk about the beverage business then. So you can talk about how we get the pricing, because I think people are really confused about how pricing ends up on the shelf where it is. And that was part of my post to you to understand that, because even in the early days of Liquid Death, when I had the idea, I want to make this beverage company, there are so many costs that I never even realized existed until you actually get into it. So there's two ways you can sell a beverage to somebody. You can ship it direct to them from your warehouse and sell it on your website, which is kind of what it seemed like you were doing with the gag product, right? Then there is selling in a retailer. And there's only one way you can basically sell in a retailer. You have to sell to a distributor who then sells into the retailer. If you're a non-alc beverage product, the only distribution system, for the most part, that you can use is the beer distribution network, because the other two non-alc distribution networks are Coca-Cola's network, Pepsi's network, Keurig Dr. Pepper's network. You cannot be distributed in their network unless they own your brand. It's locked off. Beer distributors, because of the alcohol laws in the US, alcohol manufacturers are only allowed to own 20% of their distribution network. You can't produce the booze and also sell the booze to retail. So there's about 400 independent Anheuser-Busch distributors. Anheuser-Busch corporate only owns 20 of them. So for those other 300 plus distributors, they're all individual family-owned distributors around the country. You can go to them one by one and say, hey, will you distribute my product? And most of them say, unless you have massive chain authorizations in Walmart or 7-Eleven or Albertsons, we don't want to deal with your product. We've got 100 other brands. So it took Liquid Death a lot of time to do that. So once you build out that network, we've got about 300 Anheuser-Busch and some Miller Coors, some non-alc distributors around. They want a 30% profit margin to sell your product to the store. So let's say I can make a 12-pack of Liquid Death water for, call it $5 is my cost. By the time you have the can, the filling, the carton, shipping from the bottler to your own warehouse, then also the cost of shipping from your warehouse to the distributor, that all adds up to be a lot. As a beverage company, on the low end of what you can sustain yourself as a company is a 30% gross margin. At scale, you want to be north of a 40% gross margin. Companies like I mentioned, Monster Energy are at 54, Coca-Cola is at 60. You start adding that on, $5 plus shipping, give a 40% just mid-range beverage company margin on there. Then it goes to the distributor. They need a 30% profit margin on that to the retailer. And then the retailer, if it's a grocery store, they want a minimum of 35% profit margin when they sell it to the customer. In a convenience store, when you're selling singles, they want a 50% gross margin. So you start adding that up, that's how you get to these prices that are, yes, higher than what Coca-Cola can sell it for when they own the entire supply chain. They own the cans, they own everything. So the beverage game in general is very capital intensive, because as a small company, you will never get anywhere close to the cost benefit of a Coca-Cola who own most of the products on the shelves that you see.
Are you allowed to disclose the profit margins for Liquid Death?
I can't give an exact number, but I could say we're around 40% gross margin right now.
The public estimate is $333 million in sales last year. Is that public number correct?
That's retail scan sales. That means when there's certain data centers that track big retailers like Walmart or Albertsons, what goes through the register. That's not our revenue. That's how much Liquid Death was.
The fuck was Tim's initial question? What was he saying about the God, what was he getting at? The cost of So I thought Tim was getting into, if you're gonna buy Liquid Death, you have to spend what was he getting into? The amount of money you spend and the amount of plastic that gets used per whatever. I forget what was he initially getting into. Hopefully he circles back.
Was sold through the
Been smoking too much. By the way, I'm going to hit this bowl again.
registers in retailers.
So-
We're not allowed to disclose our actual revenue. But yeah.
So, are you allowed to say how many cans or how many units you sold in the last year?
I don't have an exact number, but you could kind of back out probably something close to like around a buck a can through the register. So probably like close to 300 million cans.
Wow, that's a lot. So is the argument, I suppose, that you don't want to disclose your products contain plastic, or that as it pertains to using glass bottles, you could not find a way to reduce a label, or maybe even use no label?
So since the post the other day, and this is something we've been talking about for a little while. It's not like we're like, hey, this is something that we're in a room. How do we manipulate the public and get them to buy? That's not happening. Death to Plastic is a marketing tagline, right? Marketing tagline.
Someone didn't sit in a room doing these hands to come up with that tagline. I think so.
At the high level like that, they're not claims. We're not saying our product contains 0% plastic. Death to Plastic is like, just do it, or gives you wings. It's a short form to get people to then.
You're telling me Red Bull doesn't actually give people wings? You're going to tell me they've been lying this whole time? This guy's going to get hit with a lawsuit if he's not careful. Funny Face. I see people laughing at Funny Face. I scroll up. What did this guy say? It just says, pee is stored in the balls. Oh, bro, if that's the case for you, you might want to get that checked. You might need medical intervention. I don't recommend to many people that they need to get to a doctor, but if your ball sack is swollen, filled with piss, you might want to check that out with a medical professional. I can't help you with that. I hope you're not coming here for medical advice. I hope that wasn't a solicitation for medical advice in my chat saying pee is stored in the balls. Please help. I would say try ivermectin.
And look deeper into the brand of like, oh, what is this? And then if you actually go to our website, or you read on the can, or you look into it, there's more info on what it is. And now I agree. At this point, because of all the other concerns about plastic, we should absolutely update our line to Death to Plastic bottles. And we should have on our site, and we actually, if you go to our site now, I had my team update, hey, let's just change the logo now, Death to Plastic bottles.
Death to Plastic bottle. It does not have the same ring to it. It does not, guys. These guys are fucked.
Let's actually talk through everything that we talked through. Hey, yes, they do contain a plastic liner, and here's what it's all about, and here's what's happened, and realities about microplastics and plastic bottles, and let people make their decision. Again, nothing's perfect, and we're not trying to do this to deceive people. Again, it's always hard for companies in a lot of areas where companies are so close to their own products, where it's like, we live and breathe every day all the details of Liquid Death. And what we might assume is something that is easily assumed might not be the case. And then we learn and we adapt. And I think that's what you have to do.
I did notice this too, because I pulled up your website and saw that you do have this section now which talks about plastic liners, which I believe you put up yesterday. And was it yesterday? It was yesterday?
Yeah, no, I did. As soon as we had this conversation and I saw some of the traction on there, again, this is something we've been talking about. I'm like, guys, like, we've been talking about this for a while. One, it should have been updated earlier. I was
Yeah,
like, guys, why isn't this updated? Right?
Why didn't you do it years ago when all these articles came out and the videos of the plastic bag and the liquid death bottle were going viral? Like back then, it didn't matter. Or you know, I look at it like, here comes a guy with millions of followers posting on X, I have this issue, and you see it's like over 1,000 comments are made, hundreds of retweets, and then you update it. But all the information I'm talking about, I've actually discussed privately, not even privately. I've gone without naming Liquid Death out of respect for mutual, individuals, mutual colleagues that we have. So I've actually done shows where I've talked about the issue of can liners without naming Liquid Death. But there's articles from 3 years ago talking about how you guys line your product with plastic and don't disclose that, and only now you change it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm glad you did. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like, well, one, we didn't believe that, and based on, because look, we don't just make decisions in a vacuum of 3 people sitting in a boardroom. Like, we look at shitloads of survey data. Like, we have people, we're surveying liquid death drinkers to find out, what is it? Why are they buying? Is this a problem? And what we identified was the fraction of people, of all the liquid death customers, the fraction of people that would be in this camp of, oh, I thought I was buying something that had no plastic in it, and how dare you deceive me, was so small. And even now, it's a very small number of people.
Dude, you gotta be kidding me. No, that is not right. People don't know this. People don't fucking know this. Dude, guys, people in my chat, you guys realize people don't know this, right? Everybody knows that people don't know this. I'm trying to get you guys to read between the lines of what I'm saying here. Like, people definitely, there are some people who are trying to sell cans of bottled water, or not cans of bottled, but cans of water, cans of canned water. Okay. There are definitely people trying to push canned water onto their listeners, leaving them with the assumption that they're not drinking from plastic.
But hey, sometimes you do have to cater to, hey, let's make it ultra clear, so there's nobody
Mike,
that can
get him, Tim.
That can do it.
I appreciate you coming on, but did you talk with your lawyer before doing this show?
Absolutely.
And you brought up Red Bull gives you wings, which the FTC fined Red Bull for as a misleading statement. And then you just stated that you...
That's a ridiculous thing.
Oh, no! People actually thought they'd get wings? I was joking. Oh, God. See, that's the problem. You think people don't drink canned water under the assumption they're not drinking plastic, when people were drinking Red Bull thinking it would give them wings? Holy shit.
It's actually
The knife was too good. That's the only explanation.
Guys, what the... Oh, God. It took me to another tab. Sorry.
I have for what happened next. They thought I was a psycho.
How many people are buying a liquid death, or no, how many people do you think are buying a Red Bull saying, I believe this product is going to give me wings?
Fascinating, because that wasn't the FTC's argument. The argument was that Red Bull's statement misled the public into thinking that it provided more of an enhancement than any caffeinated beverage. The statement Red Bull gives you wings did not trick people into thinking they would grow wings. People believed Red Bull was an energy drink, and then they found out it was a standard caffeinated soda. That's why they got fined. I think it was $13 million. So when you say to me, we knew death to plastic was a marketing slogan and our products contained plastic.
Bro, how much... Okay, hold on. Red Bull has to have more caffeine. You're telling me... Okay, hold on. How much caffeine... in Red Bull? For a 12-ounce can. How much caffeine for a Coke? $34. So it's okay. So it's like, that's about 4 times that. Okay. What is Tim's argument? that they made people think it was more than just a caffeine drink, or what? That was the what? Who did the FTC? What did they say? Right, FTC. Bro, that is crazy. Honestly, that is kind of crazy. Just the fact that Red Bull tastes like battery acid, and people probably were drinking it and ignoring the taste, just getting over it, thinking they're like getting something really special. They could have just drank 3 sodas. I don't know. I mean, the only time I've ever liked Red Bull is when it's like mixed with some kind of booze, Red Bull and vodka or something like that.
And there was a portion of people who genuinely believed it was plastic free. Sounds like you've just admitted to an FTC violation.
You're completely wrong, because death to plastic is not a claim. Death to plastic is a point of view.
Neither
That
is
we are
Red
a
Bull
company-
gives you wings.
That we are a company that is trying to do something about plastic. Not all plastic. We don't say death.
Okay, no. Red Bull gives you wings is what did he? What's the term he said? Oh, sorry, I'm an idiot. 3622. Yeah, it is. No, claim is what he said. A claim. Red Bull gives you wings. It's not like a real, but it is a claim. That is a statement. That is a a claim statement. Death to plastic is not like a claim. I think he's about to lay this out.
To all plastic, our product contains 0% plastic. That's not what we're saying.
Yeah, you know what? He's right.
And we have, if you look at any ad that Liquid Death has made, Recycled Plastic Surgery Center, the most recent thing we did with Whitney Cummings, the whole thing is about recycled.
Bro, I hope promo code. I hope you're right. I hope people are not drinking Red Bull just like randomly like they used to. Well, but that's the thing. There's so many other energy drinks. People are drinking Monster and Red Bull was cool until they started making satanic cans like death water and fucking and Monster with Hebrew 666 on it. Oh, truth is, what's up? Temporary superpower. What drink? Who likes Red Bull in here? Rockstar Energy? You talking about those drinks? Oh, what? You're saying with Red Bull, they thought they were buying an energy drink with something that's not just caffeine? Okay.
It's about putting plastic in your body, which microplastics do when they leach into your food product. I thought that was pretty funny because I like Whitney Cummings, and you did this commercial where they're jamming plastic in their body, and I was like, kind of like when you consume plastic-lined food products with microplastics leaching into them, right? Look,
Tim,
I'm going to say it again.
Tim, no. You're trying to spin something here. And look, that's what you do too. You spin? And you're trying to spin it. Yeah, you're spinning.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing. I bought a product that death to plastic because I didn't know aluminum cans had plastic in it, and you told me you knew there's a portion of people who didn't know that, and you kept selling the product without disclosing it. That pisses me off. I would not have bought Liquid Death as a plastic alternative had I known my food product was lined with plastic, because it defeated the purpose of purchasing it, and I stopped buying my Saratoga Springs thinking this didn't have plastic in it. That's my whole argument. You said you knew that was the case for a portion of your customers. I'm pissed. I was one of those customers, and not just that, I'm buying...
Ouch. Bro, that is kind of funny. The way this guy said it, he was pretty much like, hey, look, I mean, most informed people know that aluminum cans, they have a plastic liner in it. I mean, yeah, there's a couple fucking retards who don't know that, who might buy the product. Little did he know he was talking about Tim Pool.
Thousands of dollars. I'm buying, I think, dozens of cases, maybe even 100 cases, because we have 40 employees and we were drinking a lot, and our guests were drinking a lot. And we've done special events where we've had people put Liquid Death on our...
Oh, fuck. Tim Pool spent $100,000 of his Russia money on Liquid Death
table.
Oh.
I don't care if Coca-Cola, Liquid Death, or Celsius or whoever has plastic lined cans because we get that. I was unaware of that. I learned something. I care that this can says death to plastic on it. And I thought aluminum cans didn't have plastic. And you knew this was the case for some of your customers. And I was buying a product through misleading advertising.
So what you're saying was if it specifically said death to plastic bottles, there's no issue.
No, not at all.
Wow.
You said no issue at all. It's not an absolute. I take issue with the marketing campaign, which insinuates you don't use plastic and you're actively working against it, when in fact you are contributing to the production and consumption of plastic. It's absolutely better than plastic bottles, but there's no data showing a comparison between liquid death consumption and a decline in PET bottle use. In fact, exponential increase across the board. So when I look at your cans, can for can, Liquid Death produces the same amount of plastic as every other canned soft drink manufacturer, and you're growing. And now you're getting away from water and you're going into standard soft drinks, which typically are in aluminum cans because of pressurization. They're not going to work in these thin PET bottles.
So this is such a difficult thing to. I'm not some kind of statistic analyst expert or something, but this I know gets tricky. Like Tim is saying, there's an exponential growth in use of plastic bottles. So there's no study, there's no data that will show that selling Liquid Death in the cans is reducing the use of plastic bottles. Guys, this is one of those things where we've been over this. I forget which debate we were watching. It was XQC and Ethan Klein. You guys remember we played that debate between XQC and Ethan Klein, and Ethan Klein was arguing that XQC, and I get it, I get the spirit of the argument. The way XQC does React content, like he doesn't add anything to the fucking video. Like, at least here, I'm not going, oh, it's been 2 minutes, I have to say something so that I don't look like I'm stealing a video. I just naturally have my own shit to add to the conversation. Some people don't. They actually will just sit here, play a video, and stop it every 3 minutes and go, dang, chat, how about that, chat? So I get it why people think XQC is ripping some people off of their content and stuff. But Ethan Klein of H3H3 argued that because you saw a decline in the original video's views around the time that XQC would play someone else's video on his stream and react to it, Ethan Klein said, oh, look, you can see a correlation. You see, every time there's these few examples I have here, and it shows this person had a viral video. Then you react to it on your stream, and their views end up going down. Anyone that knows anything about analyzing, and I know nothing, and I know this, anyone that knows the slightest bit about analyzing stats and drawing meaning from it knows that this is like one of the biggest ways to lie with statistics right here, is by you can't know when the video, in the case of XQC, but I can bring it back to this argument just so that we're not lost here. You wouldn't know what the stats would look like had Liquid Death not be sold. You guys get what I'm saying? So Tim Pool is saying, like, let's say there's 100,000. Last year there was 100,000 fucking plastic bottles sold per week, and Liquid Death has been selling, but plastic bottles the use has increased. So now this year there's 150,000 bottles purchased per week. So that shows the sale of Liquid Death isn't decreasing the amount of plastic bottles sold. Well, that's the problem, is we don't know how many plastic bottles would have been sold had Liquid Death not been selling. So just think, we don't know how much it's reducing. There's no real way to know that, because you can never know how many people were going to buy plastic bottles instead if you're not selling this other thing. So Liquid Death could have reduced the sale of plastic bottles by 50,000 bottles per week, but you wouldn't find that in the data because it still looks like an increase. Just because there could just be that there's more people. The fucking population of whatever region is increasing, and so more people are buying plastic bottles. And it could have been last year was 100,000 per week. This year is 200,000 per week, but it's not that because Liquid Death sold some, so it's 150,000 per week this year instead of 200. That is a decrease in a way, but you can't find that just by looking at the raw data on its face or something. Anyway, you can twist it to make it seem like that it isn't or is a reduction. It's just this is one of the things you have to be really careful with the way people present statistics and data to you, because they will just extrapolate whatever meaning out of it they want to get.
You are the same as every other company, but you have this thin veneer of we're environmentally friendly for some reason, or better, despite the fact if you put on these cans do contain plastic, I would not have bought them. I would have kept buying glass. And so that's what I'm bothered by. So I'll say this. Put on all of your products.
Glass has more plastic. Tim, glass has more plastic. So you're
No, you're arguing that that's not correct. We don't know that. That's assumptive.
It's correct. You're
no,
wrong.
it isn't.
You're absolutely wrong.
How does glass have more plastic? It's in the glass?
The caps.
Plastic inside the cap of a plastic bottle. It weighs about 3 grams worth of plastic.
And can I get one without
inside a can? The liner inside a can is 0.5 grams. That's all the plastic.
On the high end,
can.
it's 1.
So just the cap alone is 6 times the amount of plastic material as what is in a can. And then if you have any plastic.
No, but this guy is making a fair point, Scott. No, so yeah, the plastic is in the cap that they use for the glass containers. This is the thing. What Tim is arguing is, oh, well, I switched from a plastic bottle beverage product. I switched from plastic to aluminum can Liquid Death or whatever the fuck it is. I switched because I thought there was no plastic in it. And I wouldn't have done that had I known there was still plastic in the cans. But this guy is arguing back, well, you would have, it's still less plastic. There's no like bottled water in a glass container that has a cork. Tim Pool is talking about using silicone or a cork for his own bottled glass bottled water company, but that currently doesn't exist. So Tim Pool either would have continued drinking the standard plastic, which would use more plastic than the Liquid Death cans, or he would have switched to Liquid Death because he would eventually realize, yeah, it has plastic, but I'm using less plastic. So Tim Pool is kind of like having his cake and eating it too here a little bit, because he's going, oh, well, I wouldn't have switched because I knew it still had plastic, but it's less plastic. It still is. If you got to decide pick your goalposts, because you can't go, well, I wouldn't have bought it because it still uses plastic and and then if you go, oh, well, it's less plastic, then he'll go, oh, well, still it's phthalates and shit leaching into the water. Okay, well, you're getting that with a plastic cap glass bottle. You have to like figure out where you're putting your goalpost.
On the label of the plastic bottle, which a lot of them have, that's another couple grams. So you're talking on average.
Yeah, Scott Starbird, they were talking about that. So that's the reason some of you're saying Johnny Walker uses metal caps. No, but a lot of the metal caps, it's a layer of plastic in there that keeps it so that it'll actually seal. Think about, I already talked about this, the Snapple bottles, or a bottle for a bottle of beer, the cap for a bottle of beer. You know how when you take the cap off a bottle of beer and the inside of the cap is like soft, it feels almost like there's wax? That's plastic. And they say when you unscrew that or screw it back on, there's like a shitload more, according to certain studies that are more recent. There's supposedly more plastic particles come off from the cap of twisting it on and off than what would leach into the liquid just from it being stored in an entirely a hard plastic bottle. It's a difficult, guys, we're in a sticky situation, and there's probably, I mean, you know, this takes something. It's not like I don't want to completely give people the impression that I think any beverage company is shitty because they all sell. Guys, it's like people want to buy you know, fucking weird flavored drinks and stuff. And if we want to do that, then we're working through it. We're trying to figure out. There's no easy answer right now. But if companies are being deceptive, that's the problem. That is the problem. We get it. It's like pros and cons to everything, but you can't fucking lie to our faces and expect us to not be mad about it. So again, I don't know how much you could argue it's like I said, it's just slightly deceptive marketing by kind of giving people an impression and letting them knowing he already admitted to knowing that some of their the people that their customers that buy their products are buying it because they are unaware that there's plastic in it. He already admitted to it. So,
and you go ahead, chat GPT, AI, whatever the fuck. A plastic bottle, they estimate, has 5 to 6 grams of plastic used in a glass bottle, which is 10 times that of an aluminum can. So
2.22. Fair point.
So you could make the argument that that's what I'm getting at is, yes, there is no perfect thing. And when it comes to plastic, that's the bigger thing. Let's just say you made a glass bottle that somehow uses no plastic whatsoever. If you're talking about microplastics, water in the bottling facility is touching plastic all over it. There's no way to get away from plastic in the modern industrial society, unfortunately. Water is passing through plastic tubes. There's plastic nozzles on the bottle.
Well, you know, Scott Starbird, this is the predicament we're in, and I think I already gave a fair answer, a fair solution to this. Scott Starbird said, "I got it, bamboo." You're thinking in the right direction here. My solution, guys, this is going to sound crazy. I already said it earlier in the stream. Some of you might have missed it, but this is going to sound crazy, okay? This is what I say we do. I say you take the skin of a fruit, okay? You get the juice and you take the skin of a fruit, say an orange peel, and use that to carry the liquid, okay? And we can get orange juice and get the peel of an orange and put the orange juice in the peel and sell that to people. Oh, wait, we already have that. It's called an orange. You're welcome. Eat fruit. Fruit has fruit juice in it. You don't need to make a plastic bottle to carry around some fucking sugary bullshit. You eat a piece of fruit. We already have the biodegradable containers. It's called fruit. It's called nature. That's what I'm saying. So everybody, you're going to have to keep this fucking weird trade-off. And eventually, you know, now what are they talking about now? These different, like, they're like supposed to be edible. It looks like plastic, but it'll be like edible or something. And it's like similar to like what the laundry pods are in and that kind of thing. And, you know, eventually they're going to go, whoops, there is some chemical in that we had no idea would give you guys cancer. It's like, you don't want to keep chasing your tails because you want to like drink bullshit all. And I'm not trying to be a complete dick. I mean, I get it. Everybody's fucking, you know, at least in America, the American diet is completely fucked, guys. So just, you know, I'm not trying to be too harsh, but I'm just saying that for real, I feel like people are trying so hard to avoid just like eating the right stuff. And you're going to keep going, okay, well, we'll do it in plastics. No, we'll do it in glass. Oh, well, the glass is too expensive. Then just fucking take an apple with you. Take an orange. Take a fucking peach. Like, why do it, you know? We already have the containers.
Fillers that the water goes through in the facility. So we live in a world dominated by plastics. So there is no way to get away from any risk of microplastics, regardless of what the container is. So,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And that's why we have liquid death. And my issue is not that Coke lines their cans with plastics. My issue is that your marketing misleads into people thinking that it's not the case. But the point was made. So we can move on from there.
Yeah.
I do have a question though, because you sent me that big long Twitter thread about the cost of shipping glass. I certainly think glass is still a point made about beer caps. I did a quick search and I'm not getting for pop caps, which are not resealable, which I would consider to be more comparable. Let's try and get a hard number. So one of the concerns with like
we can't even buy water without getting plastics in it though. What the fuck is going on in my house? There's some noise out there. What was I saying? Oh, we can't even buy water. Yeah, dude. So this is what I was thinking about. I need to look. This is the one thing that I with water. And again, I try not to drink too much water. I used to drink a lot more water when I vaped because the vaping would like dry my mouth right the fuck out. I don't drink that much water. I have like apple juice. Sometimes I do like a body armor, but ideally, and as long as my funds allot me this, I try to just get organic juice or eat like. Luckily, my mom has some fruit trees, and there's certain times a year I can go without buying any fucking juice or anything because I just eat the star fruit. And my mom has a peach tree and mango trees and all this shit. So I can, if I really, try hard for a while, I can just like completely avoid buying any of it. The water is the one thing that I haven't buckled down and tried to dial in. And I just like don't even know where to start. And my initial thing, like, one of my first thoughts is if there was something that you could actually successfully filter out all the plastic and shit. I don't know. It's just fucking weird. There's so many different water filter type of things. And once you start going down that road, you start hearing about the alkalized water and the fucking cancer patients that say that you need to drink alkalized water or alkaline water or whatever. And then if you get a really like good reverse osmosis type filter, then some people argue that you have to add certain minerals and shit to it. Like I've started barely looking into that before of like, what should I really do for the most ideal water? And it started to make me feel like I need a whole like filtration system just for all the water that comes into my house, especially guys, because I live in like not a great neighborhood in Tampa. And I'm pretty sure the water is not as good here. I know that sounds crazy. And it sounds like it's like I'm rage baiting because I'm in the hood and it sounds like I'm saying, oh, because I'm in a black neighborhood, they give us less water. And it sounds like something a Bernie Sanders voter would say, but I actually think that that might be the case. I don't fucking know, man. But yeah, no, that's the one thing I have to figure out. Seriously, my diet, everything about my diet, I feel is like, 99% fucking dialed in. The water, I just drink whatever. I've been doing Aquafina, and it's partly because of the bottles. All the plastic bottles that they sell these days suck. They don't stand up, and they don't seal properly. And these are the newest Aquafina bottles. They now have, these are, actually, it's a different design than they used like 6 months ago. And I switched to these because the bottles will actually stand up straight. Look at that. I just dropped it down and it stands up. I wish I had an old one of the Zephyr Hills. You guys know that even Zephyr Hills and all the cheap Walmart and whatever shit brands of water, the bottles just fall over. If you have a fresh bottle and you open it, it'll just like fall over because they just make them shittier and shittier. So that's actually why I drink Aquafina, is because it'll stand up straight. and the caps aren't complete dog shit. Bob Cook says a whole house charcoal filter is what you need. I got to look into that. Because yeah, I do want something like that. But that's the thing though too, Bob, is I'm, the house I'm staying at isn't somewhere that I hope to stay for decades longer of my life. So I'm, ideally I could do that with a house that I intend on like staying in a long time.
What is the demand for a plastic bottle and resealability?
We're speeding this up just a tad here because you know what? What the? Are you gonna let me? What is happening here? Oh my God! Look at this. It won't let me. It won't let me speed this up. What the fuck is going on? Oh. Let's do 1.25.
Is a big deal. So it looks like even in pop caps, it's 0.03 to 0.08 grams in a pop cap. A typical beer cap contains about 0.05 grams of plastic. Okay, so it looks like there is an alternative with less plastic in it than your can. Because I figured that'd be the case. It's kind of silly to think that a beer bottle would somehow have more plastic in it than a plastic lined can, right? So glass bottle cap structure is mostly steel and aluminum, 95 to 98% cap by mass, with a total standard weight of 2.2 grams. The plastic liner is usually 0.03 to 0.08 grams, roughly 1 to 4% of the cap's total weight. So again, let me say, I respect fighting against plastic. I think it's good that you offer alternatives to plastic PET bottles. I don't, however, see a real market displacement. PET is on the rise. I think you're more likely to pull people from glass bottles, like Topo Chico, for instance, is going to have substantially less, or Mineragua, for instance, less plastic than yours, based on what I just looked up. And not to mention, comparable price. I've got 8.4 cents per ounce at my local Walmart for glass bottle Mineragua with a single-use pop cap. So I can get. It's funny, Mineragua's not even marketing that they're anti-plastic, and there's less plastic in it. Now, to be fair, maybe the label has a certain degree of plastic, but we could mitigate that. We could do a paper label or something else. So ultimately what it comes down to is I'm willing to accept that you didn't really think about it all that much. You didn't. The microplastic thing is only new in the past several years, but there's still a few factors that I think matter. One is you could have always gone with glass and single-use pop caps, which is less plastic than the can. You could have disclosed on your site, on the can, this product still does contain plastic, which I think is important. And and on top of that, I genuinely just think that liquid death is overall a contributor to the market, not a displacer for the market. So consumption of single-use plastic is only going up. I take issue with the phrase infinite recyclability because that misleads people into thinking this can is pure aluminum and the whole thing can be reused as a can. It can't. You've got to get new plastics.
Yeah, I mean, again, you saying that they're not infinitely recyclable, like you're really stretching on that one.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If I took this can of liquid death after it was done, melted it down into aluminum, could that aluminum, just in and of itself, be reformed into another can of any size?
Yes.
It could.
Yeah, and then to your point,
so why
yes,
don't? So then why do you put plastic in your cans?
All beverage cans are required to have a liner because the liquid would interact with the metal.
Okay, so let's try this again. If I took this liquid death can, finished it, melted it down to aluminum, reshaped it into a can, it would not be capable of holding your beverage because it would react with it.
Yes, but you're talking about the word infinite. What do you mean by the word infinite? Let's start there.
Okay. A liquid death can, I'm not saying aluminum, a liquid death can is not infinitely recyclable because of the portion of it which is plastic, ink, or otherwise. The ink, by all means, whatever, however it's colored, we can.
1 spoonful of honey with cinnamon
Don't just gloss over the ink now.
before bed equals 0 memory collapse. The secret, the billion.
Bullshit. Throw that out the window because it is what it is. But the plastic has to.
No, guys, I've been taking Manuka honey. I just started this week taking Manuka honey. We'll see how that goes. It's pretty fucking expensive. So unless I start benching like 305, I'm going to stop buying it.
Has to be reproduced. Not to mention when it's burned off, the plastic will emit carbon, water vapor, and plastic particulates, which are soaked into a filter. That filter becomes waste. It is tons better than plastic bottles, certainly not better than Topo Chico or any other single-use pop cap on a glass bottle. So it is not infinitely recyclable. That is a marketing term. And when you actually look into it, every confirmation is infinitely recyclable as a marketing term used to make it seem like it is. Now, if you...
Yeah, it's a little bit of marketing games. It's not like... it's not the most dishonest because, like I said, I mean, I feel like he might even do better just putting 99%. Like if you actually put a number to it, to me it almost like seems like it might be, perceived as more believable, and it would be more factual. Fucking Scott Starboard said Tim just slapped this dude in the face after kicking him in the balls. Yeah, it's just slightly less one-sided than I thought it would be. I mean, this guy is making decent points. He's not just like completely. He's not just a complete fool, but yeah, I don't know how much this is going to help the sales of Liquid Death. This might, I mean, who knows? This might even help him. It's some publicity. And like I said, the main issue here, well, not the main, but one of the biggest issues here is deceptive marketing. It's not that the Liquid Death cans are so much worse than a plastic bottle. That probably isn't the case, but still.
If you said the aluminum in our cans can be recycled infinitely because it's a metal, that would be a fair statement. And by all means, make that distinction, I suppose. Once again, my point is all of these factors line up and show us an avalanche, which says to me, I don't believe that you guys were unaware of the impact. In fact, you said to me just a moment ago, you knew a portion of your consumer base thought this was plastic free, and you did not put on the can that it was, in fact, containing plastic. Even if that percentage is 2 or 1%, it shows that you are willing to say that portion of our consumer base is okay to lie to or mislead.
It's not lying. Tim.
Just it's lying by omission. It's misleading them into thinking death to plastic doesn't actually mean us because we're producing more single-use plastic.
We have tons of info on our site that is always talking about recyclability of plastic versus aluminum. We're never claiming that these are healthier to drink from in any way. We're never claiming anywhere actual claims of like 0% plastic. Death to plastic is a rallying cry. It is not a claim.
Let me ask you.
That's kind of fair. Guys, let me get my protein shake. Last one of the night. Let's make it count. Yeah. Oh. All right. We got all kinds of snacks here. We got the Greek yogurt, organic Greek yogurt, fat-free. We got organic maple syrup, pure maple syrup. It's the only ingredient. Organic maple syrup. You don't need fructose corn syrup. We got organic apple juice. And my homemade protein shake that looks like blended dog turds. Let's do this.
I get it. And I'm not trying to, I don't mean to cut you off, but just because I hear your point and I duly noted. So one other question I have, it says on this can, we donate a portion of the profits from every can sold to help kill plastic pollution. I checked your site. Do you want to explain? I don't know if you're allowed to tell us what portion of the profits actually goes towards fighting plastic pollution.
Well, in the early days of Liquid Death, we had a specific number. We had, it was like 5 cents a can was what we donated in the very early days. As the business, well, actually, it was the original thing.
Right here, guys, it's coming up right here. This is where this guy gets his shit pushed in by Tim.
Was 5% of the
This doesn't go well for him.
profits we were donating.
Your site in 2021 says 10%.
No, not 10%.
The website Liquid Death Archives 2021 says 10% of all sales per can goes to fighting plastic pollution.
That was never on our site. It's
How much you want to bet?
10%.
He want
it doesn't say 10%.
How much you want to bet? Gentleman's bet, because I have the archive pulled up.
$1 million.
Are you sure?
I'm ready. I know we never put that on there.
Everyone watching right now can see archive.org. 10% of the profits from every can is donated to help kill plastic pollution. I don't know if you're able to see. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I can't put it on my screen. If you everybody watching can see that it says 10%, buddy, you owe me $1 million.
Well, that's why it costs so fucking much, because they're donating 10% of each can to plastic whatever.
Hey, you said it.
Tell me where to make the check out.
I don't know, to a plastic fighting charity.
Yeah.
I'm not mad that you're saying 10%.
I
think it's good.
I could show you detailed legal stuff within there. That is someone who needs to be fired that was running our website, because it's never been on a can. It's never been anywhere else. Like, that is not at all what we've ever claimed. Like, that's somebody who copied and pasted something that's a typo. And
All right, guys, I've talked to you all about this before. I've probably done this on cam. This is the jam right here. If you go buy this plain, unflavored, fat-free Greek yogurt, this does not taste good. This is borderline disgusting, okay? I can eat it plain. It's not that big a deal. It's not that bad. It's not that bad, guys. But if you're not used to it, this is where the maple syrup comes in. I'm sure you guys saw me show the maple syrup a minute ago. You said, is this motherfucker about to eat some pancakes? No. This is what you do. It's just naturally sweet and delicious. Again, guys, check this out. Check it out. Right here. Ingredients. Let that zoom in for you. Ingredients. Organic, come on now. Organic maple syrup as the only thing on the ingredients. This is sweet and delicious. You don't need shitty Mrs. Buttersworth high fructose corn syrup. This is good. Mrs. Buttersworth is a fucking fraud. So this is what you do. I got about 2.5, 3 tablespoons worth of. That's about what I do for a serving. It's like 3 tablespoons, like big tablespoons of Greek yogurt. So for about 3 tablespoons, this is what I do is 1, like, light, not super overfilled, but 1 like light tablespoon of the maple syrup right there. It's not completely full. I could add like a few more drops, but you just drop that down in there. Guys, you have no idea how fucking good this is. I bet there's some people that really think like, oh, eating healthy, it doesn't taste as good. It's not for me. I need my McDouble. Bitch, you will be cursing the day you ever tried a McDouble once you try Greek yogurt, plain, healthy, organic Greek yogurt with maple syrup. Look down in there. It's not the most appetizing. It doesn't look like much. But I'm telling you, that sweet of the maple kicks in with that tart of the Greek yogurt. Holy fuck. You'll eat this and you'll go, how the fuck is this healthy? This is about as healthy and delicious as it gets right here. So fucking good. Bob Cook says he hates maple. What are you, an alien? Who the fuck hates maple? Well, use honey. I used to do that. Maple syrup is so much better, though. This right here, guys. Oh, my God. Fat-free, plain Greek yogurt with some maple. I'm telling you guys the cheat codes, okay? You want to eat healthy and enjoy it? Right here. And you just wash it down. No one else is drinking from this. I'm not going to put my lips on it, but you just wash it down with a little organic apple juice right here. Organic apple juice. 100% juice. Not from concentrate. I don't play them fucking games. Bone apple teeth. All right. I got to remember this is behind me over here because I don't want it. I don't want that apple juice to go to room temperature. All right, let's get back to it. What are we even doing tonight? What are we talking about? Israel? Oh, yeah, Tim Pool. Here we go.
it's not on there now, and it's not ever going to be on there. That's not true.
August 1st, 2021, Liquid Death website.
It's not,
and then it lists,
and it's been updated. And if you look on every can we have now, every packaging thing we have now, it does not say that.
Yeah, currently it just says we donate a portion. So here's another issue in my argument that I think this is a marketing ploy for you guys. I looked into these nonprofits, and I was shocked to find that relative to the size of your company and your sales, these are microscopic nonprofits. They look fantastic. I don't want to disparage them in any meaningful way, but I'm just surprised to find. I mean, is Liquid Death the principal contributor to these nonprofits, or do you give them like a check for $100,000 every year?
Well, Five Gyres is the biggest nonprofit we could find that is solely dedicated to helping with plastic pollution and plastic.
I mean, how much money do you give them?
I mean, we can't disclose exactly what it is, but we are probably their biggest, if not their biggest, one of their biggest contributors.
So according to their 990 for the year of 2023, they brought in $1.2 million. To be fair, I know that you guys have seen exponential growth over the past couple of years, but and I'm not trying to immediately just go totally dark and negative because I think it's good that you guys are doing this, but it seemed low, to be honest. That their total contributions for the year is 1.2. The prior year before that was 1.1. This is the latest 990 that I could find. And the current assets for Thirst was about 500,000, though I didn't pull up their direct 990. It just seems small for, the latest reporting period. Again, I'm not trying to disparage the fact that you actually do this, but I look at it and like, to be, I looked at what they do. They do like cleanups and things like this. They advocate. They say that principally what they do is science. And so it seems like most of the financing is going to paying individuals who probably aren't getting a full salary, to be completely honest. I think it's respectable because most nonprofits I think are scams, but they have a big team. And at the rate of revenue that they bring in, these people are really, they seem to be really doing the work, but it does seem to be relatively low, especially considering the size of the company. I will totally give, I think the estimates for total sales for Liquid Death in the ending fiscal year 2023 was like less than half of where it is now. So factoring in retail sales don't account for your total sales. You guys are making the drink. You're then selling them to distributors. It's probably substantially less. If you're doing $1 a can and 330 million cans, that's out the retail store, right? The bucket can is like retail price. I think you're pointing out.
Retail price, yeah.
By us, single tall boys are $3.30 at our Sheets and our 7-Eleven, and then the regular cans at Walmart are like $1.08 per can. So, are you guys still doing tall boys, or is it now just all the small ones?
No, we still have the tall boys. We got rid of cases of tall boys this year for most of what we have, and because basically, if you look at the beer industry, all single cans are big tall boys that you buy like cold. All cases of beer is 12 ounce. So we kind of moved to that, but now we.
Truth is that yogurt with peanut butter, come to mama. That does sound pretty good. But you got to do, I think you got to do like a standard yogurt. I feel like a Greek yogurt with peanut butter be like impossible to swallow or something. I feel like that'd be dry. Sometimes that Greek yogurt is like, not really curdy. It doesn't have like curds in it, but it's like thick. It ain't super liquidy. That does sound good. Some peanut butter with anything.
We realize there's enough people who do want to buy full cases of big cans. For a couple hero SKUs and flavors next year, we're going to re-release some of the big cans.
So just because I'm not trying to be so dark on this one, because I think it's good that you're doing this, but am I wrong about my interpretation that the nonprofit only brought in 1.2 in total contributions, and you guys are generating, I don't know, tens of millions of dollars? Is it comes off immediately. Again, I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to be too mean. I actually respect this, but it does come off like you're contributing very little. It's a lot relative to the nonprofit, but 1.2 million for a nonprofit is actually one of the smallest nonprofits, in the industry.
Sure, and the reality is there's not a lot of nonprofits dedicated to plastic pollution. They're the biggest one that there is. Second, the other thing you have to keep in mind is, yes, Liquid Death sold 300 million cans. We are still not yet a profitable company because as much as it cost, like we're still operating, like we said, on a 40 margin. It took us forever to get there. Big reason for that was during COVID, ocean shipping costs went up 5x. We used to produce our product in Austria because there literally was not a single co-packer in the United States who could put spring water in aluminum cans. Did not exist in 2018. So we, in 2022, we moved our whole supply chain to the US. It ate our margins. But what that shows is like most beverage companies, the game is stacked against you with Coke and Pepsi to start a new brand. And most new beverage companies, what you have to do is you start a company, you have to price your product where Coke and Pepsi prices it. Even though you don't have the economies of scale, you can't just say, oh, we're going to be an $8 can of water next to $1.79 smart water because that's what we need to make a profit. No, you have to price where Coke prices, lose money for years, raise capital, and then eventually you get to enough scale where your costs come down enough where, hey, you're actually maybe able to generate a profit. And for example, the company Body Armor, they're like a Gatorade type product that got bought by Coke for $5 billion, I think 2 years ago. They had to get to almost 600 million in revenue before they were actually generating profit. So even though we're a company that's not even making money, we are still donating. So yes, that's why we're not donating these massive amounts. As we get bigger and we have more profit and become a bigger company, we could continue to donate more.
Are you planning to sell Liquid Death?
Our excitement is, as a company, because we're a multi-category brand and because the kind of marketing we do could never survive in the Coca-Cola corporate structure or Pepsi corporate structure. Any of the stuff we do would die in a focus group or would get killed by, somebody in that system. That's not the kind of marketing they make. So yes, maybe one day someone could come to us and say, hey, Liquid Death's taken enough of our market share, we're just going to buy them. But for us, we're more excited about the potential of one day becoming a public company like Celsius or Monster or Vita Coco, where we still kind of control our own destiny. No one can tell us how to market, and we can, continue to drive company value that way.
Entertaining the possibility that a sale could come at some point, have you guys taken any actions which could benefit you in a sale of the company? And specifically for the reason of maybe this will make us more appetizing to someone to buy us out?
I mean, yes. I mean, we work with a ton of smart people. We have a board of people that understand M&A and people who have been a part of other brands, sold brands, been a part of the Coke and Pepsis who have bought other brands. So we have a pretty good hold on what it needs to look like if you are going to get acquired by someone. But again, most beverage companies are built to sell, as they call it. They're like, hey, we're going to start this thing. We're going to burn cash. And the whole plan the whole time is
1 spoonful of honey with cinnamon before bed equals 0 memory collapse. The secret.
We're going to flip it to Coke or Pepsi.
Yep.
That was never our thing. Like we built this
to
kind of be a long-term company. Now, to your point, if Coke or Pepsi comes to us and says, hey, Liquid Death, $2.5 billion, we got to think about that, right? Because there's a lot of people that have busted their ass for this company.
What the fuck? Don Ferguson. Drink out of the toilet and call it a day. What am I, a fucking dog? You're a dog. You're a damn dirty dog, Don.
Every employee of Liquid Death owns shares in the company. Jason Ellis, as you know, owns shares in the company. Like Dane Berman, one of my favorite people on the planet and skaters who put together the Liquid Death skate team. Just unfortunately, after 6 years, we just realized like, hey, it just doesn't fit in like into our strategy, and we just can't do it anymore. And as much as I love Richie, I know that there wasn't many other sponsors he had, and it hit him really hard that, hey, we can't keep paying you that couple $100 a month anymore.
Yeah, I don't think that was the issue for Richie. I think it felt more like you stabbed him in the back. And my understanding is that the entire skate team is now gone. And when Richie first told me to buy the stuff, and I did, and then shortly after found out there was plastic in it and got pissed because I thought, the marketing was misleading. I said, for Richie's sake, to be polite, I'm not going to start a public spat with Liquid Death. But then you went and axed the whole skate team, and I said, I got to hold my tongue on this anymore. For Richie, not to, I don't want to speak to his business, but I mean, the things this guy did for you was really amazing. He would always make sure he had a can of Liquid Death in every video we were producing to make sure it was on camera and everything else. And for $500 a month, you cut him off. And he's been with you since the beginning. You really couldn't afford $500 a month? I mean, Corey Duffel.
Oh, fuck. I didn't know nothing about this. What's going on? They had a skate team sponsored by Liquid Death.
And the rest of the team? You're doing really that bad?
So let's talk about that.
I get it.
Yeah, no, let's talk about this. I think it's important because you're a skater, I'm a skater. Let's talk about skateboarding and Liquid Death for a second. So,
hey, we're all just skaters. Hey guys, I have a few tech decks.
The skate team started in 2019. We had like no sales. Like we were a small company. I went to it was a skate event where it was one of the concerts. It wasn't Warped Tour, but it was like some kind of skate and concert thing. I met Dane Berman there and Adam Arunsky, and we had Liquid Death at this event, and they were videoing themselves like doing stuff like over a can. And I got to, I'm like, hey, I started this company. He's like, oh, this is cool. And I got to be friends with Dane. And Dane said, hey, maybe I could put together like a little skate team for Liquid Death. And I was like, hey, look, like we don't have big budgets for this right now.
Bro, I think this guy's first mistake is calling your company Liquid Death, and it's supposed to be water. I mean, who else? Is there anybody who saw a can of Liquid Death and thought for 1 second that it would be something that the body needs, like water? Or did you also think it was some kind of fucking fucked up white chick drink? Because I think that's like, I wouldn't doubt that there's some people that think that it's like, it's what were the ones, the white claws. I was gonna say the white chicks like, but it's the white claws. White women love the white claws, but there's all kinds of different claws and different drinks now.
Also, from the beginning, our strategy as a company was never to try to go into skate and extreme sports. We did it because I personally skateboard and love skate.
There's some white woman out there who bought a whole fucking 12 pack of Liquid Death thinking she was going to get tore up on some ladies drinks.
But the reality is Monster and Red Bull and energy drinks, they write massive checks into that world that we could never compete with. So it would be really dumb for us to go try to buy our way in to skateboarding against all these other big energy drinks that throw so much money around. But it's like, hey, if we could do this thing really cheaply, and these are cool guys and things, like, yeah, I'll get some cool guys together. We did this for 6 years. Now, in no way does it actually fit into what the market.
I knew I wasn't fucking crazy. There's some my lovers in the chat. I thought it was an alcoholic drink for a long time. Promo said same, Dutch. Now our brains are plastic. Bro, everybody thought that shit was booze.
Strategy was. So in the early days, me as the CEO, my personal likes I can kind of keep around. But now as we get bigger, when we have a team of people and marketing strategy, they're like, hey, Mike, like, we've been paying these guys for 6 years. We don't really track. Is it doing anything for the brand? Is it selling any more water? Like, we're just kind of doing it because you like these guys. Like, we might have to kind of start phasing this out. So we had to do that. I don't like the way
you had to do it.
As part of my team, I have to respect my team to a level and say, hey, Mike, this doesn't fit into the strategy anymore. We have to do it.
What was your budget per month for the skate team?
I think all in, like, they're probably to pay all these guys every year. I think it's like 40 grand a year that all in we're spending on the skate team.
Yeah, I hear you on the, hey, we don't know if there's real value in these guys kind of statement, I guess. But it's kind of crazy for a company recently valued at $1.4 billion to be like, these guys that have been here since the beginning, it costs us 40 grand per year. Let's fire them. And so, my thing, I know people have already tried to make the argument. The only reason I'm arguing is because I'm friends with Richie and Jason and some other people. I just think, look, I want to stress this. I actually think Liquid Death is a great company. I just don't like the marketing that you do, and I think you should fix it. And really, I have very little to say after the fact if you do fix the marketing and say, like, we get it, cans use plastic, we're going to try and be better than everybody else. Then there's nothing. It's like, okay, all right, we'll make that to play. Outside of all of that, as we have like the last few minutes here, bro, I don't see an argument to be like, I'm a skateboarder. It costs me 40 grand a year to keep a skate team on, and we just brought in a bunch of investments. Like, so it's like $3,600 a month to keep the guys from the beginning on who have never missed a beat for you, and you cut them off. That's shady.
It's not shady, Tim. Like, you're basically saying, okay, if you become a Liquid Death skater, you should be paid forever. Doesn't matter if you're measuring what you're doing, what you're posting. Also, I can show you a text message. When we brought Richie on about, I think it was a year into it, he came to me and said, Mike, I want to produce my own YouTube show that's kind of funny about skateboarding. Will Liquid Death give me the money to do it? I said, how much is it going to cost? He said $50,000 for 10 episodes. I said, Richie, there's no way we can do that. Maybe we can swing 20 grand. And he's like, oh, okay. So we wired $20,000 to Richie. He made 3 episodes of this show. It got no views, and he got really bummed out. He's like, I don't know why there's no views. And he gave up. He didn't even make the whole 10 episodes. We didn't even get pissed at him.
Yeah.
Even though we wired him the money, we said, hey, look, Richie, you tried. It just didn't work out. It's all good, whatever. And we still kept paying him for years. So,
bro, that's kind of crazy. Motherfucker, if I give you 20 grand to pump out 10 lousy podcast episodes, you better, I don't care if they got 2 views each, you better give me my goddamn 10 episodes. What the fuck? Bitch, get out there and promote it more. What do you just give up?
So it's not like we've done a lot. And of all the skaters, I have a text from Corey Duffel, from Dane. They all were like, Mike, I just want to say thank you so much for the last 6 years. Like, you paid us, literally, Corey Duple said, you basically paid us to do nothing for 6 years. And I really appreciate that. It wasn't easy for us to go find sponsors at our various stages of career, you know, where that is. Thank you so much. Like, I appreciate everything I have. Richie was the only one who went and, you know, posted something out of anger. And I will say, I don't like the way that Richie was let go. I knew that we were moving on. I had no idea when it was going to happen. And then I found out after the fact, oh, someone just called them and said, this is it. I wanted to more personally do this. And yes, I was not happy about that. But if you look at the rationale of it, that's a whole different story.
I have no logical argument for your business rationale, and I think it is largely correct. And so I'll make sure that, you know, everybody who's listening understands this. I run a business as well. There comes a time when you're like, listen, man, we've done this for a long period of time. We've got to wrap things up. My understanding is you offered to keep paying everybody for, you know, several months after the fact, even though the team, I don't know if it was you, but whoever was in charge said, we're actually letting you know it's happening now, but we're going to give you several months lead time, which is respectable. So I just think it's kind of like the personal and professionally, you make a good point. You're correct. Personally, right now, skateboarding is at its worst moment ever. And so to see a company as successful as yours be like, it's 40 grand to keep these guys in skateboarding in some capacity. Nah, let's not do it. It feels like no love of the game. And there's no real logical argument that I have against you for doing so. It's just like, it sucks that skateboarding is burning down and this is just another log on the fire.
And I totally get that. And I hope that in the future, as Liquid Death actually, because so much of our focus right now, it's like.
So this whole debate happened because of some bullshit skating team debacle. Some fucking some skating team getting paid $40,000 a year for absolutely nothing. Tim is butthurt about that deal falling through, and this is the only reason we're getting to watch this. That's pretty petty, but I you know what? I'll take it.
It's like, hey, look, we've grown, we've raised a lot of capital. We're at the point now where it's like, you need to become a big boy company that's actually making profit and making money, or it's just going to go away, right? So when it starts getting to like profitability, that's where all of a sudden little amounts of money here and there all start adding up, and that's really what you have to do to really drive how do you become a profitable company. And if we get bigger in the future and we have more marketing budget to spend on things, I would love to maybe get back into skateboarding in a much bigger way where we can add.
Don Ferguson in my chat said the new Liquid Death baby formula comes out next month. That's exciting. At least you know, new parents have something else to look forward to besides dirty diapers. But they should call it a liquid abortion. That's the baby line of Liquid Death products is called liquid abortion. I like it.
Actually write the kind of checks that we have to compete against with Monster or Red Bull or any of these other companies that can just throw money at guys. Like, how are we actually going to go make a big dent unless we just have so much money to spend on?
So just two last quick questions. Yeah. This one you may require a longer answer, but when I talk to a lot of people about the brand, and you know, I got a bunch of messages from people when I was tweeting. A lot of people say that there's two reasons they won't drink it. One, there's like this hippy dippy, it's not really political, but there are these people who believe that water contains emotional energy. I'm sure you're aware of this.
Yeah, we made a commercial making fun of that very recently.
Yeah, they're like water molecules. They're like, I won't drink anything called death because it's bad for the spirit. But there are people who have said your either mock or legitimate cursing and satanic worship or prayer of the water means they'll never touch it. And I'm not, you know, that deeply theistic. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, I drank it, whatever. I got a can right here. But do you think that's going to impact your growth? There are a lot of people who are rather pious, I suppose, who won't go near the brand, and that's going to inhibit your growth capability.
Yeah, what happened, dude? It's a bunch of fucking liberals buying your stuff because they hate God. When are you going to pander to MAGA and the conservatives, huh? These Trump voters are not going to buy your Liquid Death. Not while they're looking up theories about what Hillary Clinton does with pizza. They're not going to sit there and drink a can of Liquid Death while they're looking up why Hillary Clinton has pizza theories made up about her. I'll tell you what they're going to drink is like holy water.
Yeah, well, two things. One,
in fact, that should be your next brand. It should be called Holy Water. I mean, you want to sell or not?
Not a lot of people. I think most people always forget about social media. What you may or may not know is like the 90-10-1 rule.
Yep.
Yeah, 90% of people who are viewing social media do not interact with it. They treat it more like a television. They're just watching kind of the circus. 10%.
That's probably the safest way to do it.
10% of the people watching social media will do a light action. Like maybe I'll click the like button. Maybe that's 10%. Only 1% of the people consuming social will actually take the time to write and comment on something.
Y'all better get them fucking numbers up. What kind of rookie numbers are those? You better not be watching this fucking stream without interacting. Listen to those stats. You guys are, come on, get it together. You guys are disappointing me. You got to smash the like. You got to get in the chat. And after the stream is over, leave a comment too. What am I, just sitting here so you guys can just laugh and point at me?
And then of that 1%, how many are the people who are like the angry people? So I tell people all the time, people try to make business decisions based on angry things they see on social media. But the reality of what's happening is like, imagine
1 spoonful of honey with cinnamon before bed equals 0.
Am I supposed to wipe with this? I'm confused by this commercial. They're putting honey on a piece of toilet paper. Am I supposed to shove this up my ass or what?
Memory collapse. The secret the billion-dollar industry doesn't want you to know.
being in a football stadium.
Shove toilet paper up your ass, but cover it in honey first.
Sold out. There's one group of 10 people at the top screaming that this team should sell and they're the worst team ever. How much does the actual ownership of that team going to put stock in those 10 people when you've got literally a full stadium of other people who are all bought in? But because of the way social media works, you only see the negative stuff really easy. So it could feel like it's a lot more than it is. But you really have to look at, no, what's actually happening? I tell my team all the time, hey, if we have 20,000 likes and 2 angry comments, I'll take 20,000 to 2 all day. You're never going to have 100% of people who love you.
Same is true for Yelp and Google reviews. So I guess just last question. First, I do appreciate you having the conversation. It's very, very respectable. Will you change the, in some meaningful way, the branding or whatever on these cans to make it very apparent that there's plastic in them?
Yeah, so we are starting to make the updates of having our tagline be more specific to say death to plastic bottles. So we're going to have that on cans packaging. Now, the way the cans and packaging works, it's going to probably have to happen in cycles over time because there's inventory and we're not obviously going to like burn inventory. And again, what we feel like is that the number of people that it's actually, that this is actually an issue for is small. So we're going to continue to update it. We already have it updated on our website and we'll continue to, where we can, make things very clear on the packaging. But also, again, be very clear about what that means. Like just saying it contains plastic, but being clear about, okay, well, so what? What does that mean? Is it worse for me? Is there more microplastic? Is it less than a bottle? Because you don't just want to give a blanket statement that people could then misinterpret 3 other ways. It's like every time you try to fix one problem, you could make 3 more. Right?
Here's what I would appreciate, and it's very difficult. I don't think you can write out this huge paragraph like you did on your site explaining that cans contain substantially less plastic, though there is still going to be some in there. How do you let people know that you are doing better than a PET bottle, but the can is lined with plastic? You're still substantially better off. It's very difficult to convey, which is why I took issue with just hashtag death to plastic. I don't feel that death to plastic bottles rectifies any of the past or anything like that. Not that I know how you would do that other than update the site. But as far as changing the marketing so that people know you're not saying outright all plastic or the can doesn't contain plastic is probably a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I got one more question for you, actually, because I'm looking at this can. The iced tea says manufactured for liquid death in Los Angeles, California, and the ingredient just says water. What's the water source for this?
So for almost all soda, iced tea, anything that's not bottled water, they're using what's called usually RO, reverse osmosis water. Which
is that what you guys are doing?
For our flavored beverages, we use reverse osmosis water, which is basically it's municipal water, tap water that gets filtered of literally everything that's possibly in the water is filtered out of it. It's how
reverse osmosis. I mean, if they're actually, I guess if that is the standard, the industry standard for the kind of water they use, that's good. I really wasn't sure on that, and I still don't really trust it. But yeah, reverse osmosis. That's what Bob Cook was in here. He said a charcoal filter. Really, I don't know much about the charcoal filters. I know that I've heard that does work for a lot of stuff, but I think reverse osmosis is supposed to be like really the top of the line in terms of filtering everything out of the water. But again, that's why I've been down rabbit holes with this, and it's hard to figure out what to do. But I think that's why some people actually have to add minerals to to their water, because if you're drinking pure water, it's going to strip a bunch of minerals from your body because of osmosis. So anyway,
basically all soda, all drinks are made.
Yeah.
That's the other thing about bottled water that most people don't realize. Most of the big bottled water companies, Essentia, Aquafina, Dasani, that's all just purified municipal tap water. It's not actual premium source
Right.
spring water. So
This is actually really funny. Dasani's water source is municipal public water supplies.
yes, and they do $1 billion in revenue. They put tap water in plastic bottles and they sell they're the number 2 bottled water brand. It's crazy.
So just to clarify, the Rest in Peach that I'm holding, you guys take, it's municipal?
well, yeah, you're paying for, people act like it's crazy that you have to buy water. I mean, you don't have to. Hey, when it rains outside, figure it out, just like the water companies do. You're paying for them, the companies that are bottling the water. You're paying for them to filter the water and bottle it and put it to the distributors. You don't have to go pick it up from some warehouse that's 500 miles away. So, you know, that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the fact that you're getting clean filtered water right to your fucking lips.
Municipal water that's reverse osmosis filtered and then used to brew your drinks.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh, okay, right on. Well, I think I've made my claim. I think if you guys are honest in your commitment to, you know, I will add, what a silly debate for me to be having, you know, no disrespect to you, just like getting angry over the plastic branding on Liquid Death thing. I tweet about it, and then here we're having a conversation. I respect that you're having a conversation, and if you our guys are committed to updating that so that people are aware, then I don't know. I guess I'm content. You know, that's all I'm mad about.
All right. And if you need a show sponsor, you know who to call.
Oh, here it goes, huh? Yeah. Well, anyway, man, is there anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up?
No, like I said, I appreciate you having the call. And again, like I'm big on, you know, big reason I'm a fan of you, even though we might not totally align on certain political things and things like that. What I do like is that I do believe the problem right now is most of us here in the world, we live in the middle, and there's so much extreme on either side that is somehow steering the conversation in that. And I feel like we need more people getting in the middle, where it's like people just need to talk to each other and not have it be, well, I'm left, so I'm never going to fucking talk to someone on the right, or, you know, everything about Trump is just, he's a fucking villain and a Nazi and everything else. Like, yeah, I don't love Trump, but is there some stuff I think he does is good? Sure. Yeah. Is there a lot of shitty things he does? Yeah. But it's like, I feel like we need more conversation and try to somehow get back to like just having dialogues and not having it be just pure fucking vitriol on either side.
I unfortunately don't know if we're trending in a positive direction in that regard, but I do appreciate you having a conversation. So you got like social media or anything you want to shout out before we wrap?
No. I think we're good.
Right on, man. Well, I do appreciate it. Thanks for the call. Thanks for the conversation. I saw that you updated your website the other day. Thought that was a good thing. And I appreciate you being as candid as you have. I look forward to seeing the new labels on Liquid Death. And I will add, I am impressed, and you're doing substantially better than literally any other beverage CEO in addressing concerns consumers have. I can't believe you gave me the time of day to actually yell at you on the internet about why I'm pissed about the marketing, but you did it, so I have to respect it. So, brother, thanks for hanging out, and I guess I'll see you on X.
All right, thanks, brother.
Have a good one. Take care. Well, I got to give it to him at least as far as it goes with that.
That's true. He handled that. He took that well. That wasn't too sloppy. I really thought that was going to be a bloodbath. Judging by the one clip of this guy getting his shit pushed in with the $1 million bet, I thought this was going to be a bloodbath. All right. Well, what is it? Yeah, it's 10:35. Let's get out of here. I had some other stuff saved, and I just packed a bowl, but I got to get out of here, guys. I got a lot going on. Yeah, lovers, friends, thank you guys for the support, chat. For real, thank you guys for all the support. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for clicking on the video. Please hit the like if you haven't already. That just, that just gives me a little tickle when you do that. I know you guys want to make me happy, right? Okay. Smash what other buttons can you press? Oh, the subscribe button too. If you're new around here, you smash that. You smash the like. Go to the comment section and smash a bunch of other letters to spell out words in my comment section. That'll help me out. And what are we doing tomorrow? What do we? I have some stuff saved, but we'll see. I got a few different things on the menu for tomorrow and the rest of this week. So yeah, we'll see what we get to. I don't want to spoil anything. But we may have another Black Fatigue episode coming very soon this week. I don't know, guys. We might, even though I don't really get good algorithms with that either, but I'm staying true to the game. So, yeah, this has been Dark Times with your boy, Dark Match Steve. I will see you guys tomorrow. What do we got? The lineup tomorrow is Scott Starboard at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the YouTube. Then Alex Stein at 7 p.m. Eastern, and then I'll be on around 8 o'clock. So, yeah. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Everybody take care. Take care of yourself. I love ya.